language you want to use. That will describe Adam Jones. What a homestand. He had 571, 9 RBIs, one of the best stretches in his career. Competition does not get any easier, though, for the Orioles. They stay in the East. This time, it's the Red Sox. First of 19 against this rival. The Red Sox and the Orioles. Next on Massive. It's the Orioles on Masson, and on the road again are the Birds. Fenway Park in Boston is the site. First of 19 that these two teams will play against one another, and many feel these are two of the teams that may battle for that division championship. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Thorne, and welcome. For the Orioles, the offense exploded at home, particularly Adam Jones. We'll talk about that in the ball game tonight. Ubaldo Jimenez makes the start here. Everybody wondering, can he be as good as he was in Game 1? This is a very tough lineup that he will face in this game. The Orioles won 11 games, 11 of the 19 last year against Boston. They played particularly well here at Fenway Park. Here are the numbers from last season here in this ballpark. You see the wins, 7-3. Batting average for the Orioles, a magnificent 292 in this yard, 258 for Boston. Runner in scoring position number as good as they had anywhere at 327. Red Sox on average at 256. The Orioles scored 56, giving up only 40 against Boston in this ballpark. And amazingly, the 7 wins, there were 7 10-hit games, 10 hits or more by the Orioles in that series. Mike Bordick, there were a lot of years where the Orioles won during that here in Boston. They've got it done for the last 3 years and won the series.
They really have. They've turned the corner and really jumped over a huge hurdle in the American League East, and that is the Boston Red Sox. They played great baseball for the last 3 years, but trying to settle Fenway Park, it is one of the toughest places to play in all of baseball. I mean, there are hostile fans here. They're certainly supporting their Red Sox teams, but boy, oh boy, they can get on an opponent. And if your game is down, they will let you know it, and it is hard to come out of here with a win. Well, the Orioles turned that around. Last year was a very successful season. You saw the numbers of 7 wins here at Fenway Park last year. Offensively, they really took advantage of some weakness by the Red Sox. The Red Sox didn't have the power in their lineup last season, and of course the pitching took a little turn for the worse, and the Orioles were able to capitalize on that. But it is a facelift team here for the Red Sox. Everybody's new. Sandoval's on the infield. Hanley Ramirez out in left field. They have a completely new starting staff, so a lot of new faces, and they're looking to turn the page and create a new winning championship season here at Fenway Park.
And they are one of the favorites for the division title. When we come back, we're going to let you sing a little song. It goes, day, oh, day, oh, day, oh, day. Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by Ocean City, Maryland. Put your vacation days to good use in Ocean City, Maryland. Book now at ococean.com. Back here at Fenway Park for the Orioles, a mainstay of the bullpen has been Darren O'Day. There are the numbers for him in his major league career. Very solid performance while he's been in an Orioles uniform. And overall, those are really great career numbers. Almost became a doctor, did Darren O'Day. It was that close. Talked with him before the ball game today. I said, you have referred to yourself as a scientific geek. How about that?
I enjoy science a lot, and I don't mind being called a geek. That's fine with me.
Periodic tables you take a look at once in a while?
I do. I actually read a book basically about where the periodic table came from, how it's evolved over time, and how scientists could tell there were gaps in it, that there were elements they just hadn't discovered yet, and they just had to figure out a way to find it, and kind of how the periodic table has changed and what a beautiful invention it was to start with.
Darren, where do you think that came from, that interest?
You know what? I used to get in trouble out when I was a little kid.
You?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I would get grounded, and my punishment was staying in my room, which was fine because my parents always bought me big piles of books, mostly on science. And when I was grounded, I would read them a lot. That was the only thing I had to do in there. So I did a lot of reading when I was little, and it just kind of sparked my curiosity, and I've always enjoyed it.
How close did you come to a medical career?
Well, if I hadn't been so lucky to get through the minor leagues so quickly, I would have been a little closer. I took my MCAT, and I had 3 years to find out whether I wanted to play baseball or whether I wanted to go back to med school because the score would expire. And luckily, by the time my score was about to expire that summer, I was in Anaheim in the major leagues. So I kind of decided I had to give this baseball thing a shot, and if I really wanted to go back to med school, I could go back and take the test again.
Would you do it?
My teammates keep telling me I'm old, so I guess 32 is pretty old now, and I don't think I would. It's just it takes so long, as it should, to become a fully accredited surgeon that it would be so late in my life. I want to spend a lot of time with my kids, hopefully, and do something else.
The name O'Day identifies you, obviously, as a baseball player, but your family history is a little different. Tell us about it.
Yeah, every St. Paddy's Day I'm living a lie, Gary. O'Day is a strong, traditionally Irish name, and every St. Paddy's Day I get harassed. I always seem to pitch in spring training. I get harassed. O'Day's probably still drunk or already drunk, so. And I turn around and tell them I'm not Irish, and they don't get it because my last name says O'Day, but my dad and his brother, both when they got married their respective wives, they both changed it. Our original last name was Odachowski, which is it's Polish and pronounced the proper way. It's Odachowski. So you can see how you might get O'Day from Odachowski, and they changed it. It's a long story going into my grandparents, but that's what I have now, and it goes a little better when I come into a game O'Day than Odachowski.
As a broadcaster, can I just say thank you very much to your family? All right, let's do a baseball question. How about the bullpen? It's been a little tough start for them in terms of the numbers. What do you think?
Yeah, I think every game is important. Every inning is important. But I think coming out of spring training, there's always some funny things that happen right at the very beginning. There's always some adjustments guys are still making. Some guys are, they were starters for spring training or they were kind of moved around, and it takes them a minute. So I would say give us a few more games. We're getting back on track, and we'll be right where we were last year.
Well, Darren O'Day, obviously very cerebral, in his studies wanting to be a doctor, but he's very cerebral as a baseball player, too. I think with his delivery, he has to find ways to get guys out, and he's able to do that. He's a student of the game, and he's really made the most of his talents.
Got a great sense of humor, too. All right, let's take a look at the starting lineup for the Orioles, brought to you by Southwest. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. De Aza, Pierce, and Snyder, Jones, Davis, and Machado, Joseph, Cabrera, and Scope. You see the numbers versus Boston, and RBIs doubles up there.
Now let's take a look at Joe Kelly's pitch arsenal this season. Fastball, it is a good one, 72% of the time, and he'll rush it up there in the high 90s. You're going to see 97, 98 miles an hour. He lets it fly, and there's some pretty good late life on that fastball. Sometimes he'll lose at the arm side, though, so look out for the right-handed hitters. Breaking ball, 27% of the time. He has a good strikeout slider and a big curve. He's still working on being consistent with that, and obviously the changeup. He had a phenomenal first start of the season, that 1.29 record, 7 strong innings, allowing just the 1 hit, at 8 punch-outs and 2 walks. Their hope that Kelly really step up and have a strong season. Of course, came over by way of trade last year when John Lackey was sent over to the St. Louis Cardinals. Of course, Kelly came over to the Red Sox.
Great outing against New York in that first start. Almost exactly the same numbers for these two starters in Game 1 for Ubaldo Jimenez and Kelly. Here's Alejandro De Aza, who will lead it off for the Orioles. This is an excellent start for the Oriole leadoff batter. Pablo Sandoval is way in. This is as close as we've seen any third baseman play against Alejandro De Aza.
Yeah, it really is. And that's great for Alejandro because he's able to shoot that ball around the whole field. We've seen some power already this season, but suck the third baseman in and then try to slap it by him.
That'll be a strike on the outside corner. Sandoval will get to back up as the count goes to 0-2. Last season, you see the numbers against the Red Sox. For Alejandro De Aza, Pierce and Snyder will follow in the lineup. Pretty much straightaway D now. Kelly's delivery, and that one is going to bounce. Kelly, in the outing he had against New York, fastball maxed out at 96. He had a great sinker that he threw 42 times. John Farrell, his manager, said what he was most impressed by was the changeup and a curveball that he's working on. He only threw it 7 times in the ball game, but he threw it for strikes. 1-2 delivery. That'll be fouled off down the line, and Sandoval will not get there in time to have a play.
Well, Joe Kelly, very similar to the Orioles' Kevin Gausman in the sense of working on the secondary pitches. Now, Gausman, of course, the great changeup. Trying to work on that breaking ball, be more consistent with the slider. Kelly, much the same. His inconsistencies with his off-speed pitches are really what's held him back. Now, he's only 26 years old, but if he can throw those off-speed pitches for strikes, certainly going to get more chases.
And the delivery, De Aza will bounce that one foul, picked up in the box by Hannigan. So the at-bat will continue. Kelly last year retired 67% of leadoff batters. Now, this season, the left-handers are 0 for 12 against him. He gave up only 1 hit against the Yankees, none to a lefty, 0 for 12. The right-handers 1 for 9 in that first start.
You see the Nissan pitch track trying to work the ball down on De Aza. Here it looks like going for the top of the zone with that live fastball at 96 miles an hour.
And way up. Kelly out of the strike zone with it. 2-ball, 2-strike count. You notice where he works from with these left-handed batters. He's over on the first base side, way over. So when he delivers, kind of a slingshot look here for the lefties. 2-2 delivery on the way. Got that one back down and inside. And how many times have we already seen this from De Aza? These lead-off inning situations where he takes a count deep and then fouls pitches.
Well, it is a manager's dream come true to have somebody at the top of the order that's going to work a pitcher. That's allowing everybody in the dugout to see what he has, his full repertoire. Pitchers don't like to show their stuff right out of the gate, but if a hitter is up there fouling off pitches, they got to try to get him out. So you're going to see a lot more of his secondary pitches.
8th pitch of the at-bat. That'll go to Sandoval, who chooses to backhand. Gets him, and De Aza is retired.
Take a look at the Red Sox defense tonight behind Joe Kelly. Ramirez getting started in left field. Betts in center field. Victorino over and right. Bogarts and Pedroia up the middle. Sandoval and Napoli on the corners. And Hannigan getting the start behind the plate. A lot of new names out there in that lineup. Defensively, brought over by way of trades or free agents signing with the Red Sox. And the Red Sox spent a lot of money.
Yeah, trying to regroup, put it back together again. Here is Steve Pearce. Couple of hits, 3 at-bats, lifetime off Kelly. Pearce has had a recent struggle at the plate, so he got a day off the game the other day. Started out like a house of fire and then cooled off all of a sudden. So Buck Showalter just wanted to give him a chance to think about it. He's not had a hit in his last 8 at-bats. He will take the pitch. It's going to miss down low as it came across the outside of the plate, literally. 1-1 on Steve.
Yeah, trying to work that slider down and away. Probably his best swing and miss pitch is that slider, the fastball. We've seen the life and the velocity on that pitch, but not the great command that he'd like. I think he is. You mentioned his numbers against the lefties. Much more comfortable throwing to lefties and righties. I think righties, you're going to see more fastballs on that outer third of the plate. And if the Orioles hitters watch as the game goes on, they can really gear up to that outer third.
Steve Pearce, ballpark. He's not hit well in. Carries only a .211 average here at Fenway Park. He will pop that one up in the air behind second base. Pedroia is going out. Center fielder in. And Betts will make the play. And Pearce is retired. Let's take a look at our Jeep Inside the Numbers. Talking about the American League rankings coming into this game.
Yeah, two powerhouse offenses going at it here in the early going. See the Orioles with that .270 batting average and the Red Sox .253. But look at the runs per game. 5.2 for the O's, and that's sixth. And the Red Sox throwing out 6.2 runs. That's second in all of baseball or in the American League. And the home runs, the Orioles are going to be there leading the way with 15. On-base percentage up. The walks, that's a big difference. Red Sox notorious for really taking a lot of pitches, 41 walks, so they're off to a strong start there once again. And the Orioles offense, what they struggle with, trying to get on base so that 3-run homer will come more often.
Here is Snyder, Travis Snyder, a home run, 6 RBIs, solid 8 for 24 to start the season for the Orioles. A really good homestand. A couple of runs scored, 3 RBIs during the homestand. He gets the start in right field. He'll take it to center. Betts almost in place. He'll put it away. So Kelly retires the side in order. Jimenez makes the start for the Orioles. The lineup he'll face coming up. All day it's cleared up. We're 63 degrees to start and a lot of clear sky. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for the Red Sox. Betts, Pedroia, and Ortiz. Ramirez, Sandoval, and Napoli. Victorino, Bogarts, and Hannigan for David Ortiz. The numbers versus the Orioles last year.
Take a look at Ubaldo Jimenez's pitch arsenal this season. Of course, one game, and it was a phenomenal start. His fastball, he had great command, used it at 64% of the time, and it was of the two-seam variety. A lot of movement, getting a lot of ground balls with that pitch. Of course, a good breaking ball and the change, the split finger. But one start, nothing on the board. Just gave up the one hit, 8 punch-outs, and 1 walk for Ubaldo. And last season had real problems with command. 77 walks on the year last year for Ubaldo.
Mookie Betts leading it off. He's got a 6-game hit streak coming in. Youngsters, just 22 years old, broke into the majors last year at the age of 21. And Betts, with that 6-game hit streak that he's got right now, he's gone 7 for 32 with a home run and a couple of runs scored during that streak. Equals his career high for a hit streak. And that'll be taken for a strike. Jimenez threw lots of strikes. He was efficient, kept the ball down, could not have pitched a better ball game than what he did in getting that win against Toronto with the no runs on 1 hit and 7. That's going to go to second. Scope, long throw, and good pick by Pierce. He had to stretch and keep that ballet toe on the bag, and he did.
Yeah, nice play right there by Jonathan Scope, showing some good range for the big guy. Another ground ball, that two-seamer. Jonathan, fine range to the glove side, little pirouette throw, and Steve Pierce, great job to keep his toe on the base to get Benz.
They'll record the first out. Scope becoming a regular out there at second base. Pierce talking to him, make it a little easier for me next time. And that will bring up Pedroia. Pedroia healthy. Last year, really through almost the entire season, not 100% health-wise. Talking with him before the ball game, he feels great. He is really excited about the year to get back into the season, feeling as though he can do what he wants to do in the game. Starting out hot with 3 home runs, 6 RBIs. You saw the 300 average that he's put up. He's a .325 lifetime hitter against the Orioles. And Ubaldo Jimenez will miss with that one away. It's 77 on that one. 2-1.
Well, Dustin Pedroia battling through the injuries last year, but he's done a number on the Orioles throughout his career. I mean, amazing, hitting over 300, about 325. So he has seen and had a lot of success. But take a look at the career against Ubaldo. A lot of this lineup for the Red Sox has put up big numbers. Sandoval, Pedroia, Victorino, Nava, and Napoli, with some damage, some home runs there as well. All of them well over 300 with pretty good sample sizes.
And here's a typical at bat for Pedroia. He is one of those on this team that will take a lot of pitchers. The Red Sox already are #1 in the majors in the most pitches seen. They average over 4 pitches per plate appearance, and called him out. Pedroia was ready to head down to first base, turns to talk to Jordan Baker, the home plate umpire.
Well, we saw this with the Toronto team as well, not expecting Ubaldo to have this kind of command. This is a dotted fastball, two-seamer, down and away. Real tough pitch to hit. And Pedroia thinks he's seen Ubaldo in the past. He's going to lose command. Well, that is a quality fastball for a strike 3 there for the second out.
2 down, both pitchers trying to get 1, 2, 3 innings. We talked about how similar their first starts were. Both of them went 7 innings, Jimenez and Kelly. Both of them gave up 1 hit. Both of them had 8 strikeouts. Jimenez walked only 1. Kelly walked 2. And there couldn't have been much closer numbers for each of these starters in their first outing of the year. David Ortiz, designated hitter, 2 hits, 11 at bats, a home run off Jimenez, shift on against him. And the fastball will be their first strike, up at 91.
Well, amazing movement on Ubaldo's fastball, that two-seam variety. He's throwing it right at David Ortiz's front leg, and it's moving back over the middle of the plate. I mean, incredible life on the fastball.
0-2 delivery. Ortiz will take that one away. Ubaldo Jimenez last year walked 14% of batters that he faced. He threw 63% of pitches for strikes in his last game, completely the opposite. 1-2 delivery, that will come inside. Pretty good pitch, and a 2-ball 2-strike count.
Yeah, it was a good fastball. Why not try working the perimeters in and out? Ubaldo in his last start, he got ahead throughout the ball game, but he didn't waste time and try to fall behind. He attacked the zone.
Look at the pace. I mean, look how he's getting the ball and delivering it. Adam Jones at center field is there, so both pitchers have clean innings to start it. As both teams go 1, 2, 3 for the Orioles. The Red Hot Jones coming up. The numbers, Adam Jones, we said, coming up and among a pretty good list of hitters.
I'll say since a single season versus the Red Sox since 1975, 360 or higher batting average, 4 more home runs. Eddie Murray's on that list a couple times. At 77 and 83, Cal Ripken, Javi Lopez, but there's Adam Jones, and he's off to such a tremendous start this year. Look for him to make that list again. 366 with 4 home runs last season. Well, this year, he's hitting 406 overall, but he's coming off an amazing homestand where he hit 571 and had 4 home runs. So we see his season numbers right there, the 4 bombs, 11 RBIs. Adam's starting off hot. Looks to keep it going here at Fenway Park.
He's got a 6-game hit streak coming into the ball game and takes the big rip on the 97-mile-an-hour fastball that he was looking for there. He carries a 287 lifetime average against the Red Sox. He's had 19 career home runs against them. And here in this ballpark, 9 of the 19 against Boston hit here at Fenway. Kelly with a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Throw that heater if you got it, and he's got it. Here's the 1-1 delivery, and that'll be off the end of the bat and foul. That's the one Adam has picked up a lot of hits on already this season. Pitchers tend to work him down and away a lot of times with the slider. He's gotten better working with Scott Kuban, being able to reach that pitch and plunk it into right field.
Yeah, he really has, and I think that's just because he's becoming more aware of his own strike zone. He's able to pick up that slider a little bit better, recognize what it's going to do, what the pitcher's trying to do. If you make a mistake with sliders on the plate, he will hammer them all over the ballpark. His Achilles heel is chasing that slider off the plate, and I think we're going to see him pick it up a little sooner this year, and we're not going to see him chase so many bad balls.
Jones now with a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Kelly, 67% of leadoff batters retired in his young career. 2-2 delivery on the way, and Jones will take it away. That's the one they want him to go after, and he wouldn't. Kelly's had 22 wins, 16 losses. He is 1-1 lifetime against the Orioles with a 3.38 earned run average against the O's. Jones with a 3-2. Outfield deep, shaded to right. And Adam will take it, and that's a strike. And we pretty much knew that after it had gone by.
Well, you can see both pitchers have real good command of their fastballs. This one a little bit more velocity. The two-seamer running back over and catching that outside corner at 96 miles an hour. You see the two-seam grip and that little movement there at the end. Hannigan locking it up behind the plate to get the call.
Chris Davis coming up. Davis, the designated hitter in the ball game tonight. They put the full shift on against him with Pedroia going out into right field. Kelly's delivery, another fastball. That one at 98 is in there for a strike. He was living up to his velocity expectations early on in this ball game. Manny Machado will be on deck. Right-hander's delivery to him will be a bouncer. Knocked down by Hannigan. Chris Davis, 12 lifetime home runs against Boston, 4 of them here at Fenway Park. Chris trying to get out of that strikeout zone that he's been in. 15 strikeouts and no walks on the season for Chris, but he's produced a couple of home runs, 4 RBI. 1-1 delivery on the way, and going for the long ball right there.
Yeah, well, he is a very dangerous hitter, and with him in the heart of this lineup, pitchers definitely take note. You make mistakes, and he's going to take you out of the ballpark in a hurry. Here in the early going, the strikeouts, but we've seen so many good things with Chris Davis. He's using the whole field. You see every night he's up against that big shift right there. So trying to shoot the ball to left field a little bit more. We've seen him pick up some big hits, home run the other way, and picking up some RBIs.
Half swing that time drives the ball down the other way. Bobby Dickerson, the third base coach, obviously believes he can hit the ball to left field because Bobby bought a seat and is now sitting in the first row down the left field line.
He got to get out of the way, and he is.
He is way out of the way. Coaching at third base. 1-2 the count on Davis. Kelly will bounce that one. Kelly walked only 2 in that first start that he had. Last year he had 17 game starts. He ended up going 6-4. That's a combined number between the Cardinals and the Red Sox. The ERA combined last year was 4.20. Came off the DL to make that first start this year. That one in the air to left field. That is headed towards the monster. Ramirez looking up. It'll bounce off the tin and go over his head. Into second base will go Davis. Ramirez does a somersault. Welcome to Fenway's left field, and Davis has got a double. The Orioles pick up the first hit of the ball game.
Yeah, Hanley Ramirez still trying to figure out that green monster over there, and I think Mookie Betts well aware of that as he was backing up. But a great piece of hitting. He trusts what he sees, the two-seam fastball, and it comes back over the plate and doesn't try to do too much. Hits the tin hard. You see Hanley losing the balance there. A lot of times bullets off that green monster will hold runners at first base, but misplayed balls, and you're going to coast in the second, just like that.
Ramirez trying to learn the outfield this year for the Red Sox. Tough place to learn when you're playing left at Fenway. So the Orioles get a chance now, only one down. Here's Manny Machado. Manny's got a 4-game hit streak coming into this ball game. Orioles trying to get on the board first, and the fastball at 95 will be taken inside. For Manny, so far this year, he's gone 1 for 6 with runners in scoring position. A home run and 3 RBIs on the year. Caleb Joseph is settled in the lineup behind him for this first game against Boston. 4-game series, remember, here at Fenway. Here's the 1-0 pitch, and a chopper. Fair. Kelly slipped, makes the play. Good job. He righted himself. Moves Davis over to third base, 2 down.
A little number there, a little extra movement on the fastball. And Manny gets on top of it. You see him chop it out in front of home plate. And when Kelly comes off the field, that right foot slips, but gathers himself still enough time. Doesn't panic to step and throw and make an accurate throw to first base to get the second out.
So Caleb Joseph, talking about hot hitters. Joseph has been one. Caleb's 3 for 5 with runners in scoring position already. See the 9 for 24, a couple of RBIs. Picked up his first major league triple during the recent home spin, and he's got a 3-game hit streak. The Orioles have done real well early on. Now this is only the 10th game, but they have hit .273 with runners in scoring position and 2 out as a team. That's a real good number.
It sure is. I mean, they were good last year in that position. I think offensively this team is very sound, very solid 1 through 9 like they were last season, and they've had the chance to win every ball game they've been in. They're able to put some runs across the plate, and I think there's danger all the way through.
Orioles come in 6-3. They're a game behind Red Sox, who are 6-3 coming into the ball game and have that first place spot tied down in the American League East here early on. The Orioles 5-4 on the year, a game up. And going for that outside corner, he got that one. Let's take a look at our who's hot, who's not. American Standard brings it to you. Celebrate the season with the American Standard All-Star event. Visit MidAtlanticComfort.com for amazing rebate and financing opportunities.
Yeah, well, Caleb Joseph got really hot in that Yankee series, 7 for 11 with a triple and a couple RBIs. But Shane Victorino, his last series, just 1 for 7, had a K. Did have a walk. He's still trying to get his legs under him after missing the bulk of last year.
That pitch is going to be taken away, so the Orioles working the count. Caleb Joseph works at the 3-1, 2 down. Davis is on at third base. Cabrera is the batter waiting if the Orioles can extend the inning. Here's the Oriole shortstop for the ball game tonight. Kelly out of that stretch with a 3-1, and he lost it. So the Orioles will keep it going as they've got runners on the corners now with 2 down. There's the first walk. Our Maryland Lottery contestant of the game is Deborah Montgomery from Glen Burnie. You've won $500 for being selected. You get $500 more for every Orioles home run hit tonight. Play baseball box scratch-offs, win up to $50,000 or enter non-winning tickets for a chance to be the contestant of the game. Just go to ndlottery.com/baseball. Good luck, Deborah. Now Sandoval is going to move in at third base. He's on the grass by a step. Everett Cabrera, he's got a 3-game hit streak coming in. Switch hitter will take the pitch, and that's down low. Kelly struggling a little with the strike zone.
Yeah, so Everett really liking this as well. You got Sandoval sucked in over there at third base. Of course, with Caleb Joseph having that great at bat and getting on first base, there's a big hole on the right side. So a lot of opportunities here. And Cabrera, he's a contact hitter. You know, he's looking to make contact with the ball, put it in play hard on the ground. So there's some opportunities for the Orioles to put this first run across the board.
He'll get that one on the inside corner early on for Cabrera, batting left-handed as he is now. He's gone 6 for 18 from the other side, 1 for 8. So So by far the better side so far this year. Sandoval stays in at third. Davis at third base for the Orioles. Joseph on at first. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Kelly's delivery to him. Cabrera takes, and that's going to miss down low. And the count will go to 2-1.
Well, the Orioles hitter showing some real good patience right now. Some good takes on some real live fastballs. A lot of times when you see a pitcher that's throwing in the high 90s, hitters tend to get over anxious and they start leaking trying to catch up with the fastball. But nice quiet at bat from Caleb Joseph, and here Everett doing the same.
Sandoval continues in. Cabrera will take it. That will be on the outside corner for a strike. And the count goes to 2-2. A good matchup with two pitchers, both ball clubs wondering how these starters are going to be on the year. Looking to their second start of the year, each team wondering whether they can get the same kind of numbers they get out of them the first time around. So much similar in this ball game regarding the pitchers. Here's the 2-2 delivery. Cabrera swinging at it, and he's gone. Well, the strikeout recorded by Kelly. He's got a couple. No runs a hit. 2 are left on. Later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller. Baldo Jimenez against the Red Sox in the past has not had a lot of luck. This is his 8th career start. He's got a 1-3 lifetime mark and an ERA of 9.37. Here at Fenway Park, 3 previous career starts. He's 0-1 in this ballpark with an ERA of 9.45. So he'll try and change all that around here in this start tonight.
Well, it's a different pitcher. You know,
he's a different lineup, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of those differences in the lineup is Hanley Ramirez. And the pitch to him will be taken down low for a ball. Ramirez off to a really good start for the Red Sox. Looking to get some help in that lineup and hope that his outfield play will improve so that the runs that he may cost the team will be well below the runs that he gives the team. 4-year deal that he signed in November.
Yeah, they needed some offensive thump, and Ramirez considered one of the better offensive players in the game. So get his bat back in the Red Sox lineup. Of course, started his career in the Red Sox uniform, was quickly traded away. In full circle.
Says he's very happy about that. He'll be back in Boston. He is 1 for 9 lifetime off Jimenez. Sandoval and then Napoli to follow. 3 ball, 1 strike count. Jimenez delivers to him. Ramirez takes it on the outside corner for a strike. So trying to get a mark on Jordan Baker, the home plate umpire, young umpire. Looks like that strike away is going to be called.
Well, Good movement, and he's proven, Ubaldo's proven he can hit that spot here. I think a lot of hitters are going to give up on that fastball until they realize that he's able to bring it back as much as he is.
3-2 delivery. That'll go to Jonathan Scope. Short hops it, makes the play. He gets the out, one down with Sandoval coming up. First start this year for him.
And it was a great one. 7 strong innings. Just the one hit given up. 8 punch outs. And you see the movement on the two-seam fastball. Working on the outside corner. Working it in. Then you get chases out of the zone. Prove that you can pound the zone with all of your offerings, and you will end up getting chases. And Ubaldo really commanded the game against a very tough Blue Jays lineup.
Here is Sandoval. Keep in mind what we said about throwing strikes. That's the key for Jimenez. First start, 64% of his pitches were strikes. 0-1 delivery. Trying to bunt with that shift on. So there you see someone trying to react to the shift. As Pablo Sandoval, who you don't expect to be bunting, does just that. Tries.
Squares early, the big shift out there. And we've seen it a lot more this year in the game. The big shifts are trying to be beaten with either hitters trying to hit the ball over there or lay down some bunts. We've seen some really bad attempts at bunts from guys that don't typically do it. And I think you're going to see more hitters try to stay inside of the baseball and feel more comfortable swinging and trying to hit it over there than trying to lay down the bunts.
Sandoval's been a tough out for Jimenez over the years. He's hitting .324 lifetime with 2 home runs against Jimenez.
You see Pablo's power zone, pretty good coverage. Like most hitters, likes the ball in the middle of the plate, but he can get to the top of the zone and the bottom. He can expand as well as anybody in the game and drive the ball into the gaps. So very tough hitter to face, especially from the left side. I think he's more effective from the left side of the plate, but has great coverage.
And the 2-2 delivery by Jimenez will be inside. Now in the first game, we said both these pitchers gave up 1 hit. For Jimenez, the 1 hit was picked up by a lefty. 1 for 7. Right-handers in that first start 0 for 15 against Jimenez, which made Dave Wallace smile. 3-2 delivery on the way, and he walked it. Outside with that one. 1 on and 1 in.
Take a look at the strong Orioles defense. De Aza, Jones, and Snyder in this outfield. Cabrera and Scope up the middle. Machado and Pierce on the corners, and Caleb Joseph once again behind the plate.
Now the Orioles have committed only 2 errors, tied for first in the league, and given up only 1 unearned run. The reason for that, there's been a change in a ruling in the game that Chris Tillman pitched. There was an error charged on Snyder, and a ball hit to right field that allowed 3 runs to score. The error's been removed. It's been called a hit for Devin Travis. So Tillman's ERA got a real jolt today. And Major League Baseball announced the change in the scoring. I asked who asked for the change. It's got to be Travis. Devin Travis. Nobody on the Orioles would have asked for it. So that's why there's only been 2 errors committed and only 1 unearned run allowed by the Orioles. Those 3 that were unearned now been put in the earned column. Mike Napoli. Napoli, a 4-game hit streak coming into this one. He is one of the steady names in this lineup. Up to a bit of a slow start average wise at the plate. A long way to go. He is second on the team in walks. He's picked up 6. He will foul that one away. And Jimenez will get ahead of him 1 and 2.
Yeah, very dangerous hitter. Big numbers here at Fenway Park. You make mistakes with pitches, and he's going to make you pay. So Ubaldo's got to move the ball around. He's got to mix up his pitches. This guy's a proven veteran hitter. He knows what he's doing up there, even though there is a slow start right now for him. He's looking for the one pitch that will start to turn things around for him and get that confidence going again.
Napoli 1 and 2. Sandoval's on at first base. Napoli will step out. Outfield shaded to right. They give him that left field line. 4 for 14 off Jimenez for Napoli. 1-2 delivery to him. Working that outside corner. That one will miss. And the count will go to 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, that's his go-to spot, and most pitchers, that is the spot. When you need a strike and you don't want to fall behind, make a tough pitch, you work that down and away with the fastball. When you have good movement like Ubaldo has, you're going to see hitters start to expand. If he continues to get that call down there and show that he can consistently hit that spot. Saw Hanley Ramirez do it in his first at bat of this inning. Baldo dots a fastball down and away, and then he's got to protect, so he expands the zone on the two-seam fastball, weak ground ball out. And so Baldo has to stay consistent that way and prove that he can continue to pound the zone with that two-seamer.
Sandoval surprised, throw to first base. And a ground ball. This will be tough for two. Going to go to second. Get one. Relay a one-hopper. Not in time. Pretty good slide by Sandoval to take Jonathan Schoop out of the play, but they get that lead runner as Cabrera got it to him in a hurry.
That's a real nice play. And you don't really see this too often in the game. A lot of shortstops won't turn and make that feed to second base, but Cabrera knows how important that lead runner is. Yet don't have the best speed on the bases here. Get it there. Get that force out. And if Jonathan Schoop's foot didn't get tangled up on Sandoval's leg, he may have been able to throw Napoli out of first base.
Slow runners, both of them, and that's why the slide by Sandoval mattered. Now two down. Here's Shane Victorino. Victorino, switch hitter, or was, is 3 for 7 against Jimenez. Only 30 games last year, 3 times on the DL, 2 different injuries. Hoping to have a full season, earning that job back in spring training as a starter in right field for the Red Sox. They're counting on him. He batted right-handed in the games he did play last season. He did not switch hit. The numbers got to be so distinctively different. Decided I might as well stay on one side of the plate and give myself a better chance.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, switch hitting and trying to stay consistent from both sides. Sandoval's kind of going through that right now. He's having some struggles from the right side.
Pablo Jimenez will hit the plate on that one with some pretty good zip at 89. And Victorino, 3 ball, 1 strikeout. Napoli on at first base. Xander Bogaerts waiting on deck for the Red Sox. And he'll take that one down the line and curve foul. Up underneath.
Got it in there just enough. You figure a 3-1 count. Caleb called for the fastball away. Ubaldo says, I'm going to throw this two-seamer in, hoping that Victorino's going to get geared up and yank it foul. And sure enough, that's what he does. He gets the head out, tries to protect there, doesn't want to get jammed and hit a weak ground ball. So he pulls that fastball. You see it right in the middle of the plate there. Pulls it foul down the line. Now we got a full count.
3-2. Runner goes, and he will walk him. So Jimenez has walked 2 now in the inning. That keeps it alive. Not too late to upgrade your summer with the Orioles partial season plan. Members enjoy exclusive ticket savings, Major League Baseball's most flexible exchange policy. You get access to postseason tickets and orange carpet benefits. 13-game plans still available. For details, Orioles.com/season or 888-848-BIRD. Xander Bogaerts will take the pitch outside for a ball. Runners on at first and second base with 2 down. Bogaerts off to a big start. Their shortstop. Red Sox hitting .258 as a team with runners in scoring position. That is 8th in the American League. That is the outside corner strike call. 1-1.
A couple sliders there from Ubaldo to change it up a little bit. Maybe Caleb feeling that getting a little too happy with that two-seam fastball, so change the look, start to plant some different thoughts in hitters' minds.
1-1 delivery on the way. Bogaerts late on that cut. Fouled it back. He's gone 4 for 9 early on with runners in scoring position. Good number for Bogaerts, one of the young players on this team. They are counting on to have a complete and strong season, both in the field and at the plate. Exciting young player.
He really is a real good glove guy. They've moved him around a little bit, but they're hoping he'll settle in at shortstop. He'll be the guy for a long time. The last couple of years, the young player, they were excited about getting him up here. The third baseman situation wasn't going too well. Will Middlebrooks struggling with some injuries and some problems with the bat, so they shipped him out. They got Sandoval over here, and they said, listen, you got to go out there. This is your position. And he's taken it over and started this season very well.
1-2 delivery for him. He got jammed on it. Manny Machado will go to the bag and get the force out, and that will do it. No runs, no hits, no errors. 2 are left on base. We go to the third here at Fenway. No score. Jose Reyes been playing with a cracked rib for a week. They did not put him on the DL. They say he will not play till at least next Tuesday, and they'll see how it goes. Evan Longoria got plunked hard in the hip, had to come off the field. Ball game last night, Tampa Bay and Toronto, they were beaning each other. He got hit by Marco Estrada, a former college teammate. His comment should make it interesting rest of the year. Beltran, after the Yankees lost the series to the Orioles, we need to get going, no doubt about it. Only 9 games. We have to find a way to turn the page, concentrate on Tampa, where they are playing tonight. Our East Winds page and our note.
That Toronto-Tampa series should be interesting the rest of the season.
What a way to start.
Yeah.
I mean, they were clearly, I was surprised nobody charged the mound in that game because it was pretty clear those were pitches thrown at hitters,
right.
Retaliatory ones. Here's Jonathan Scope. Scope on a big cut, riding 97 mile an hour on it.
Jonathan Scope has been red hot. Great start to the season. 3 home runs in his last 5 games. This one deep into the Orioles bullpen. You know, Jonathan Scope has the great power. It's just a matter of controlling himself at the plate and understanding his own strike zone. And, you know, nice quiet start here to the beginning of the season, meaning with his body in his hand. He's not in a rush to do anything. He's been working hard with hitting coach Scott Coolbaugh, and the dividends are paying off right now.
Kelly's delivery's popped up outside of first base over near the dugout of the Red Sox, and that'll be behind it. Well, the power for Jonathan Scope has come much earlier than we saw last year. He's homered in 3 of the last 5. He had just 2 home runs and 76 at-bats in all of last April. He's got 3 in his first 23 at-bats this year. That's what you're talking about, getting to know the strike zone, know thyself. More productive for Jonathan Scope. There is no question about the power.
Yeah, last year was such a great learning year for Jonathan. And he was surrounded by good people. You know, Nelson Cruz was here helping him along the way. And I think he learned a lot about himself, how to play the game, how to be ready through a whole major league season. You see his power zone, likes it on that outer third, lets those big arms get extended.
2-2 delivery from Kelly, and that one going down the line, headed to the seats. And it will be a foul ball. Very little breeze here tonight. A little breeze maybe blowing out to left. It should really not affect anything hit in this ball game tonight. Kind of amazing how the weather cleared up today. It was dark and misty and raining off and on all day long. Then when the teams came out to take BP, it started to break, and by the time this ball game started, it's a really beautiful evening.
Well, I think what's more amazing is that there aren't snowbanks here at Fenway Park for as much snow as New England got.
That's a fact. 2-ball, 2-strike count. Kelly with a little hesitation in that delivery. Big cut, Scope likes to go after the fastball, and Kelly's got that one at 97. He's been up there 95 to 97 here a number of times through the first 2 innings plus.
That is a strong arm, but you see that run he gets on the arm side. Maybe just trying to overpower it a little too much. On the front side, if it leaks a little bit, that fastball takes off, and we've seen some 97, 98 miles an hour riding up and in on the right-handed hitters.
2-2 outside. Kelly is not one to be squeamish. Before the season even started, he went on a radio show here in Boston, and he said, I want listeners to know I am going to win the Cy Young this year. Just letting everyone know, so when I win it, you heard it first here.
It's confidence, right?
Here's the 3-2 delivery on the way. Either that or putting it. Nice stop made. Bogart's throw, a one-hopper, and he got him on the stretch by Napoli.
A nice play right there, and if he gets defense like that behind him, he may win that Cy Young award. There, a beautiful play, outstretched arms there from Bogarts, comes up and does the one-hop short throw over to Napoli at first base. Not a lot of panic there. I think it's pretty impressive what you see from some of the young stars in the game nowadays, like Manny and Jonathan Scope, and of course Bogarts. There's no panic in their eyes. No. It's like they're in their backyard playing the game and having fun. They didn't rush that play at all. And recorded that first big out.
Top of the order, Alejandro De Aza. He grounded out. Again, Sandoval moves in at third base, and a swing and a miss. That time, a little bit of an off-speed delivery, even though it's 86 miles an hour. That's 10 miles an hour slower than the fastball.
Yeah, his change is pretty good. He gets that. You see how his fastball runs. Well, his changeup does as well. It's almost like just a slowed down version of his two-seam fastball.
De Aza getting the start in left for the Orioles. Ballpark he's done very well in. 314 average here at Fenway Park with a couple of home runs. The only 2 home runs De Aza has against the Red Sox both came here. 0-1 pitch to him, and that looks like a strike, and it is. Located perfectly. And Kelly will take the count to 0-2.
Yeah, so tough. I mean, you want to get a pitcher up in the zone. Your eyes are kind of geared toward the middle of the plate. And when he's dotting fastballs down and away like Ubaldo and Kelly are, I mean, it makes it tough on the hitters.
0-2 delivery, and worked that one up. Last year for lefties 243, right-handers 246, and how much difference there, lefty righty. Gave up only 8 home runs last year, 17 starts, 5 to right-handers. Daza with a long wait on this one. Here's the 1-2, and that's going to be inside. Fastball at 96.
He really likes it in there, especially to the lefties. Can work the fastball in and out, but not afraid to start it off at their leg and let that two-seamer work over. It's really nice. I mean, we're seeing very similar pitchers, though Kelly's fastball velocity a little stronger.
Did he go? He did. Third base umpire Andy Fletcher making the call on the check swing. 2 down.
Got a changeup, and this one fades off the plate. Piazza trying to hold up there. Hannigan pointing down, trying to sell it, and he gets the call.
Now the shift against the right-hander being put on. Pedroia way over, second baseman on the shortstop side. Steve Pearce, 2 down and nobody on here in the 3rd inning. He'll go after it, foul it away. Mike's concerned that he might not remember the game's starting time, so I'm going to continue to remind him all day. Tomorrow the game will be at 4. Chris Tillman, Clay Buchholz. Sunday, the game will be at 1:30. Miguel Gonzalez, Rick Porcello. And then Patriots Day here in Boston, the Marathon Day Monday at 11 a.m. Wei-Yin Chen and Justin Masterson. So 4 games, 4 start times here at Fenway. 0-2 count on Pierce.
Pretty interesting to see how players are going to respond to all those different start times.
Oof. Pitch will be up and away. Interesting to see how broadcasters respond. A 1-ball, 2-strike count. Big crowd here at Fenway, kind of late arriving, but packing them in tonight. Here's the 1-2 delivery. Pierce fouls it back. City actually pretty quiet last night. and today, but starting tomorrow and then especially Sunday, all the marathoners start arriving. I went down to the finish line. There is a memorial that has been put up by people, not anything official, down at the finish line on Boylston Street in Boston. That was there last night. 1-2 pitch on the way, and Pierce fouls it off. A little break on that one. And the count at 1-2 still on Steve.
Another good slider there. Probably his best out pitch, that hard slider that he's locating down and away to the righties. He'll also bury it on the back foot to the left-handed hitters. But see the location on the pitch track, just trying to work away with both the fastball and the slider.
That one we will bounce in the opposite batting box. And the count goes to 2-2. Pierce showing some patience in both of his first at-bats in this ball game. Outfield, deep and straight away. Kelly with a 2-2 delivery, and Pierce will take it. And boy, that was close. You know, when the hitter doesn't turn around and slowly backs out.
Oh, great velocity. See Hannigan setting up way off the plate, but it runs back over and catches the third. Might have been a little down in the zone. 98 miles an hour, though. Whew, tough pitch.
So the 3-2 delivery to Pierce. He'll go to third. Sandoval gets the big hop. Panda guns it over in the dirt, but it was scooped up by Napoli. So a 1-2-3 inning, 2 out of 3 innings cleaned by Kelly. Pitchers dominating early in the ball game. No score. Home of the Orioles, also a destination for culinary adventure, from fresh local seafood to the eclectic array of world-class cuisine. Savor Sarasota Restaurant Week coming up June 1 through 14, 10th year. Visit savorsarasota.com. Gary Thorne and Mike Warnick here at Fenway. Great to have you with us, starting the weekend out. Well pitched beginning of the ball game, no score. Red Sox bat here in the third inning. Hannigan batting ninth, their catcher, followed by Betts and Pedroia at the top of the order. And again, we'll go after the first pitch and foul that one away.
You saw the amount of fastballs that Ubaldo's been using here in the early going, and why not? I mean, until they square one up or two, keep going with that pitch. Great movement on it. Your ground ball outs, attacking the zone with that fastball. Hey, use it until they beat you.
Check swing. That one off the bat. And an 0-2 count. Both of these teams without the expected starting catchers. With Matt Wieters, of course, for the Orioles, and Christian Vasquez for the Red Sox. 0-2 delivery on the way. Hannigan will take it. It's there. Perfectly located. 2 strikeouts for Jimenez.
That was a great pitch from Ubaldo. Doesn't waste any time on Hannigan. 3 fastballs, 3 strikes. This one the best. Quality down and away at 91 miles an hour, and he just gives up on it. He thinks that's going to be about a foot off the plate. Wow, did that ball move?
Couple of Ks, couple of walks for Jimenez. One down here in the third. Here is Betts, grounded out his first time up, and will take the pitch down low. Red Sox, while they have a lot of power hitters without particular speed, do have some speed in this lineup. They are 7 for 7 in stolen bases. So if they get on with people like Betts, who's got 3 stolen bases and leads the ball club, they've got an opportunity to run a little bit. Bogarts with another who can motor. 2-0 delivery, and that one's going to be outside. Falls behind on him. 3 balls and no strikes with Pedroia waiting on deck. Red Sox must improve against the East. Last year 31 and 45 against Eastern Division teams. That's 4 in a row not there after a strikeout. Third walk. Next Friday, the Orioles return home to begin a 3-game weekend series against these Red Sox. Don't miss the only weekend home showdown this summer between these two rivals. Good seats still remain, won't last. Show you Birdland pride and paint the park orange. For tickets, 888-848-BIRD, or go to Orioles.com. Amazing, only one weekend series against the Red Sox all year at home. Here is Dustin Pedroia, strikeout victim, his first time up. Let's keep an eye on Betts over there at first base. He's 3 for 3 in stealing bases. Base stealers did pretty well against Jimenez last year. 19 out of 25. And a pretty good lead. And there's the result.
Well, he was a little slower than most of the starting pitchers last year. So he's worked on that as well. Be a little quicker to the plate. I think we've seen some inconsistencies here in this inning with the 3 strikes and the strikeout on Hannigan and 4 straight balls to Betts. So he's got to stick with what his new philosophy is, and that's more pitching to contact. Trust that your 2-seamer is going to be over the plate. You're not going to strike everybody out. Let this defense play behind you. So get back in the zone as soon as you can. That's what Dave Wallace is thinking right now.
5 in a row out of the strike zone, starting Pedroia out with 1 up high. Pedroia 7 for 18, lifetime off the right-hander. He's taking until he throws a strike, and there it is on the inside corner. Pedroia began part of his career against the Orioles back in August of 2007. Pedroia got his first career multi-hit game against the Orioles in 07. Since then, he's had 59 multi-hit games against the Orioles. That'll go to second base. Jonathan Scope. There's one. Cabrera. Big double play turned right there. And again, a good play by Pierce at first base to haul it in. So he faces only 3 despite the walk surrendered. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left. 3 complete here at Fenway. It's all about the pitching. Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com and by your local Mercedes dealership. Here at Fenway Park, no score, only one hit. The Orioles have it. It was Chris Davis got a double in the second inning. The Orioles left runners at first and third that inning. The Red Sox have had only 2 base runners, a couple of 3 base runners on walks picked up at the game. They stranded 2. Kelly and Jimenez, impressive through the first third of the ball game. Travis Snyder will lead it off for the Orioles, hitting third in the lineup in this game. And Snyder will take the pitch outside. Snyder 3 for 12, lifetime off Kelly. He's gotten off to a good start for the Orioles, getting the starts in right field. Breaking ball is going to catch the outside corner for a strike.
Yeah, Travis Snyder didn't like that one. One of his slow breaking balls. We've seen the hard slider. He does have the big breaking ball that you mentioned he only used 7 times in the last outing, but it's just another pitch to try to kind of get in the minds of the hitters. Let them know that, hey, I've got a breaking ball too. So get him off the fastball a little bit because he's predominantly a fastball pitcher.
John Farrell, the manager, would like to see him use that curveball a little more, but he's got to be comfortable with that for that to happen. So they continue to work on that. 2 ball, 2 strike count from Kelly. There is John Farrell back with the ball club. 3rd season as the Red Sox manager. They're trying to do one of those last to first to last to first things this season in the American League East. 2 ball, 2 strike delivery on the way. And held, but not getting the call is Hannigan, the catcher. 3-2.
Well, you cannot give up on that pitch. And what makes him tougher is that when he can run a 95-mile-an-hour fastball back over the inside corner and then bury the hard slider in on the lefties, it'll be very effective.
3-2 delivery on the way. Snyder takes that one to left field. Ramirez will have it come back on him, but he can't get there. Base hit. So Snyder, we've seen him do this a lot. He is one of the best of the Orioles at going the other way. And a leadoff single, 4th inning. When the Orioles win, everyone wins. And when the Orioles win and score 5 or more, you get 50% off regular menu price online orders at papajohns.com by entering promo code Orioles5. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, valid at participating Baltimore area Papa John's. So here's Adam Jones. He got called out on strikes his first time up. Snyder on at first base. Adam came into the day in the American League with the 5th best average, 2nd in home runs, tied for 1st in RBIs, and tied for 2nd in runs scored. And the fastball there for a strike on the outside corner. Adam.
He's talking about him not stopping. That was more the quick pitch right there.
Thought that was a box, so is Mike Showalter.
So he quick pitches and then he throws 97 miles an hour. So it's really a quick pitch.
They will watch now after the Orioles complain. So Kelly may have to take an extra half a second, which he does. Here's the 0-1 delivery to Jones. That's be fouled back. Came in on the fists a little bit, and Kelly gets ahead of him 0-2. We've said that is one of the things that will probably happen at times this year with the clock. The batters not being able to step out of the batter's box. Now with the runner on they can, but when they can't, especially, pitchers are going to try it. Get the ball back. Hitter's standing in there really not ready, but he's in the box. So throw it. Now, there still is such a thing as a quick pitch though, and that's in the discretion of the umpire. Hannigan almost losing an arm on that one as he had to reach out and haul it in. And a 1 ball 2 strike count.
Pretty athletic play right there from Hannigan. Really impressed to see catchers diving around, catching fastballs up over their head where they have to come completely out of their crouch. That one looking more like an infielder. He's throwing at 97, 98 miles an hour to have that kind of reaction. You're setting up for a pitch. Look at how low he is, and then to have the ability to make a diving play. And actually, you never know. It could be one of those game-saving plays with the runner at first base. And I don't know how baseball goes, but make every play count, and he did there.
Boy, there was one to drive right there. Adam Jones really wanted that. He was keyed up for the big fastball, and that is exactly what he got. And he couldn't quite get it on the sweet spot.
Well, Adam should never, ever think about another pitch other than a fastball. He should always stay on the fastball And if he chases hard sliders, so be it.
He got that one up the middle. That's going to be a base hit. Snyder will make the turn, head to third. Played in by Betts, and the Orioles off to a start here in the 4th inning. Runners on the corners. Jones getting a 7-game hit streak is part of it. 1st and 3rd.
There's a hard slider right here, but it stays up in the zone, and you make mistakes with those pitches, and he's going to get a good part of the bat on it. He does right there, drives it through the middle. Travis Snyder, nice job base running. The Orioles threatening 1st and 3rd situation. A couple good at bats right there from Snyder and Jones.
A real chance now for the Orioles, and here's Chris Davis. Davis already has delivered a double in the ball game. Designated hitter, became the first left-handed hitter this year to get a hit off Joe Kelly. Now he'll try and do it again and pick one up. Swing and a miss late on a fastball at 96. You see the Orioles 0-2 tonight with runners in scoring position, but 3rd behind the Tigers and the A's in the American League.
Yeah, Orioles right in the middle at 333, and that's a very good number. Last year they were very good with runners in scoring position, and have to take advantage of those opportunities.
0-1 delivery on the way, and another big cut by Davis, and the count will go to 0-2 as Joe Kelly challenges him with a couple of pitches to start the at-bat. They'll give up the run here if there's a ground ball, obviously, to pick up the double play. No score, we're only in the 4th inning of the ball game, so the infield stays back. Shift on, but not completely around in light of the runner at first. Framed again, not getting the call again is Hannigan. 1-2.
A couple pretty risky pitches there. Don't see a lot of pitchers throwing fastballs away to Chris Davis, because all he's got to do is touch a ball and it's going to go 400 feet to left field. A couple risky shots there and trying to get him to chase up and out of the zone.
5 for 11. Runners in scoring position for Davis. Same place, same result. Trying to get him to chase that pitch, and the count goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes. So Chris wanting to get somebody home here. Snyder a single on at first base. Jones picks up a base hit. He's on at first. Outfield deep and straight away on Davis. Chris will take it and
still standing out there, just missing. We've seen some calls in this ball game of fastballs, both from Ubaldo and Kelly. In that bottom part of the pitch track box. That one just missing, though, as a 2-seamer runs down and off the plate.
Manny Machado waiting on deck. 3 ball, 2 strike count. Jones, will he run it first? He does not. Davis, a ground ball to second base. Dustin Pedroia, there's one. Bogarts to first. Turn the double play. Orioles will get a run. Snyder scores, no RBI. But the Orioles get on the board and have the 1-0 lead on the double play ground ball.
Yeah, you talked about it. Joe Kelly would gladly trade 2 outs for the 1 run in this situation. Help him try to work through this inning. Nice clean turn there from Pedroia and Bogart. Davis a little bit upset. Well, it was a good at bat. He squared that ball up, but there were some pitches there in that at bat where the first 2 he wanted to have another shot at it.
Manny Machado with 2 down, nobody on, grounded out his first time up, and Manny will take the pitch there for a strike. For Machado, he's done well against Boston with a 293 career average and 4 home runs against the Red Sox, 2 of them here at Fenway Park. That fastball at 99, tailing away, and a 1 ball 1 strike count.
Loosening up a little bit, letting it fly. Let's be pretty excited about getting that double play ball.
And that'll be in the inside corner for a strike. John Farrell saying before the game, it was great to have. You always want a pitcher to go deep. They really like it, even though they had a day off yesterday. Their bullpen played that 19-inning ball game against the Yankees. They're still trying to recover from that. 1-2 pitch on the way. And he said, my first concern, and I told Kelly, don't worry about that. I want you to do what you do, throw the pitches you feel. You got to pitch, go as deep as you can, and we'll take care of the bullpen side of it.
Yeah, A lot of teams obviously very concerned the first month or two of the season how your bullpen's going to respond, because pitchers still trying to work up to that 100-pitch mark and feel comfortable there. And the Red Sox, their story the first 2 weeks of the season. First week the starters did great. Second week it was like complete reversal. They didn't get out of 5 innings or make it to 5 innings. Gave up a lot of runs.
2 ball, 2 strike count, 2 down. Machado waiting on it, and did he go? And the pitch miss. So the count goes to 3-2. Kelly's having to throw a lot of pitches. Orioles have really worked him here. We're only in the 4th inning. Joe Kelly, 3 ball, 2 strike count. He's had a few of those in the ball game, and that's going to be to short right at Bogarts. So a run in on a couple of hits, no errors, nobody left. Going to the bottom of the 4th, the Orioles have a 1-0 lead. Select company in our notebook. Take a look at this. It was 50 years ago today here at Fenway Park that Jim Palmer, 19 years old, debuted as a pitcher. Look at the others who debuted same day, different years. Drysdale, Robinson, Aparicio, Roberto Clemente, and wait, Mickey Mantle, Duke Snyder, Red Shane Dinks, Archie Vaughn, Red Farber, and Joe Tinker. And all of them ended up in the Hall of Fame. How about that?
It's pretty amazing.
Jim Palmer, what do you think of that?
Well, how did that ever happen? It certainly wasn't off that performance. I actually, I thought I faced Canigliaro with the bases loaded. I actually walked Carl Yastrzemski, probably a wise decision.
Good move.
And then struck out Tony Canigliaro, who was probably the best high ball hitter, and I was a high ball pitcher. So that's how it all started. And you know, the amazing thing, the Orioles lost that day 12-9. We out-homered the Red Sox 5-1, but we walked 9. So there's a kind of a message in that box score.
Now, I read a story today. Hank Bauer was your manager. Is it true that you brought the bullpen warm-up baseball into the mound with you?
Gary, I was 19. What do you expect?
Well, it's okay. It's a great story.
So anyway, he said, "Are you nervous?" I said, "No, I'm a little apprehensive. I've never done this before. I was a starting pitcher in A-ball." And he said, "Well, just take care of this guy." And he looked at Yastrzemski, and I said, "What do I do with this extra ball?" He said, "Well, I can take care of that." And that's kind of how it all started.
Hard ground ball, and Ortiz retired on the play by Pierce. Jim, obviously at 19 years old, I mean, the chance to be pitching in at Fenway Park. What do you remember most about that night?
Well, it was actually an afternoon game, and, I was rooming with Robert Roberts. We used to stay at the Kenmore Hotel, which is now a dormitory. You'd walk out of the hotel, come across the bridge, and you'd be at Fenway. Snow flurries. We scored, I think, 4 or 5 runs in the first inning off Bill Monbouquet. The Red Sox got 3. They had a lot of other choices. The Orioles, I think, used 5 or 6 pitchers that day. Dave McNally pitched, Steve Barber. Back then, you had a 28-man roster. We had Herm Starrett, Darrell Knowles, and Kenny Rowe. But for some reason, Hank Bauer, apparently wanted to get my career started, brought me in. And, I did pitch 2 innings, didn't give up a run. But the one number, and Mike Gordy knows about this, is inherited runners. I gave up a soft single to Lee Thomas, who's now one of the Orioles scouts. So I did give up 2 of Robin Roberts' runs. But the good news is he still got the Cooperstown where he deserved to be.
And he was your roommate at that time?
Yeah, he was. He was 38 and I was 19.
Oh, my gosh.
And, after about 2 hours of questions every night, he said, kid, you're 19, I'm 38, I got to get some rest.
And hit by a pitch is Sandoval, and they've thrown Ubaldo out. Jimenez has been thrown out of the ball game by the home plate umpire, Jordan Baker. And he didn't say a word to anybody, and Buck Showalter going, why? What? There's no history here. There's nothing else that's happened in the ball game. Wow. Sandoval gets plunked. Baker comes out from behind the plate and immediately signals that Jimenez is out of the ball game, which means he believed it was intentional.
Yeah, I mean, and he hasn't even, there hasn't been anything in this game to indicate anything should be intentional. Taylor Joseph wanting the fastball in. Ubaldo hoping this one's going to run back, but catches him up in the shoulder area, and immediately home plate umpire throws him out of the game.
And Buck's going to get thrown out. I think he wants to be. And now they've worn both benches. I mean, I'm really surprised at this because nothing else has happened in the game except Sandoval slid hard into second base. A clean slide, taking out Jonathan Scope on a double play situation. I mean, that's the only thing remotely connecting Sandoval to being hit by a pitch.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody would complain about that. The Orioles going as hard as any team in the game, and I don't think Ubaldo would take it out on Sandoval for playing the game hard and trying to break up a double play.
No, I don't either. Well, I don't know. We're talking with Jim Palmer on the 50th anniversary of his debut here at Fenway Park as a 19-year-old pitcher. And in the midst of that, Ubaldo Jimenez gets thrown out of the ball game for plunking Sandoval. You saw Gosman warming up in the bullpen for the Orioles. So Jim, well, we got a minute. I looked at that list. Did you have any idea that there was a list like that of Hall of Famers making their debut on the same day you did?
No, but you have to understand a lot of those guys played when you had a 154 game schedule, so the season started a little bit later.
Right.
I think that's probably the one first thing I noticed is that now because of the the series of playoffs, whether it's division championship, that the season used to start a little bit later, and I mean it's a pretty select group to be in.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's nice. It's great to be. I was with Raleigh Fingers, Bill Necro today, and I said, it's not like when you get the call to join the Hall of Fame club, you say, sorry, I got to take another call. My people will get to you. You take that call. Well, it's the same thing, when you not only you started on a similar day, as you mentioned, different years, where you have a chance to start your major league career. And the other thing is, we always talk about managers making decisions, but just think about, I kind of had to be with the club, and I kind of touched on it. Hank Bauer believed in me. I'd had a pretty good spring. I was wild, but he's the first guy I was the first guy that he chose out of that bullpen. As I mentioned, Steve Barber would pitch, Ted Dave McNally, Dick Hall, Harvey Haddock, Stu Miller. So I was the first of the bunch. We wouldn't win the game, but that's kind of how the career started.
How did you find out, Jim, that you were coming up to the majors?
They just told me at the end of spring training that there was actually there was a pitcher, Steve Carrier, that was had a better. He didn't have he had a better instructional league than I did. I played for a better team in A-ball, and they sent him out. Back then, you didn't have a 40-man roster. You had 25 players, which were your major league roster, and then you had one guy you could protect in your whole minor league. So they protected Steve Carrier. He had struck out 20 out of 27 at Fox Cities, and I played for Cal Ripken Sr., and the next thing you know, you go to spring training. Both of us went to instructional leagues, and they tell you you're going to the big leagues for the first time.
All right, what we're watching here is the crew chief, Jerry Meals, who's at first base, coming over to Buck Showalter saying, come on, let's go. Who are you going to bring in here to pitch? Buck having an extended conversation with him. I think saying he would prefer to have Kevin Gausman warming up in the bullpen than on the mound. So he tried to draw as much time as he could to get Gausman time in the bullpen. And you see the door has not been open yet. Jimenez has already gone over to the dugout. He'll have to be out of the dugout by the time the pitcher comes in. And I've never quite seen this before, where you don't bring the guy in to warm up on the mound. I don't know that it violates any rule or anything. It's just normally a pitcher gets thrown out, whoever's coming in will come on the mound, get his warm-ups, and Kevin Gausman is going to come in right now.
Yeah, I kind of like it. I think it's like a silent protest right there.
Yeah, very much so. It's probably even more than that.
Yeah.
You know, the other thing, guys, you know, I mean, sliding hard into second base, you know, the Orioles' whole franchise turned around when Frank Robinson came over my second year. And Don Baylor, those guys were notorious. Very fair, hard slides. Everybody knew that. Mike, you certainly know about just playing shortstop. So the other factor is, if you're going to pitch in Fenway, and I know Sandoval's a switch hitter, you have to pitch to both sides of the plate. You have to pitch in off the plate. You know, even some of the great left-handed pitchers over the course of my career, or left-handed hitters, you know, they'd look out over the plate and they'd hit doubles and home runs off the wall. So, you know, pitching in, sliding hard is part of the game. And it's kind of, I'm sure Buck thinks the fact that the home plate umpire can read minds without any kind of warning. You could certainly understand if he had some kind of warning that you could actually toss somebody, but it doesn't seem like it. Even here in Dallas, Texas, it doesn't seem like the right call.
Jim, congratulations on the 50th anniversary. Really appreciate you, obviously, taking time to give us a call here tonight. And
well, you're welcome. Thank you for taking time, and good luck. I started to listen to the first part of the game, and I might get out of here to hopefully hear the win. But you guys have a great weekend. Big series for the Orioles.
Thank you. Thanks, Jim.
See you, Jim.
Go, Jim Palmer, celebrating 50 years since his first appearance. It was here at Fenway Park as a 19-year-old coming out of the bullpen for the Orioles under manager Hank Bauer.
Yeah, pretty amazing, right? Just 19 years old, having to face Carl Yastrzemski, the first hitter, and you can just imagine. He said how nervous he was. He brought the ball from the bullpen. He was going to pitch with that. As we take a look at Kevin Gausman, you know, his repertoire, the good fastball. He's working on that slider and the devastating changeup. He wants to bring that earned run average down a little bit at 8.31. Pitch 4 1/3 coming out of the bullpen now, and he's been touched up a little bit. A couple mistakes have pushed some runs across the plate, but you know, here's a guy that could potentially be a frontline starter one day, and Buck knows that he's down in that bullpen, and he wants him. He's actually the long man right now, and he's in this situation to hopefully maybe work 3 or 4 innings for Buck and keep that bullpen fresh down there. But one day Kevin Gausman will get that call and be in the starting rotation.
Well, the strange situation. Gausman in for Jimenez, thrown out for throwing at Sandoval, in the opinion of Jordan Baker, the home plate umpire. So Jimenez leaves a ball game in which he had not given up a hit. He has surrendered 3 walks, 2 strikeouts. Red Sox do not have a hit off him. You see no animosity appears down there at first base, where you've got Steve Pearce and Pablo Sandoval talking. I think Sandoval is probably as surprised as anybody that Jimenez got thrown out of the game.
Yeah, I'm sure he's surprised he got thrown out of the game. I don't know that he's really surprised that he got hit, because Sandoval's kind of done some damage against Ubaldo. So you know that hitters that have success, they're going to get brushed off the plate. But in this ball game, I can't see any reason why Ubaldo would want to do that.
Well, after the ball game, we'll have our interview with the skipper, Buck Showalter, for the post-game show, and you can bet that'll be, if not the first, the second question asked, depending on what else goes on. So here we go. There are 2 down, a runner on at first base, Sandoval. Here's Napoli against Kevin Gausman out of the bullpen. He's got a chance, of course, to be a winning pitcher in this game, since the starter, Jimenez, does not go far enough to earn a win, even if the Orioles continue to lead throughout the ballgame. Against Gausman, Napoli's gone 1 for 4 in his career. Sandoval short lead at first base. Orioles on top 1-0, scored on a double play ground ball. They've got a force at second. That's where Cabrera will go. Scope is there, and that's the inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and one left on base and one pitcher to the clubhouse. For the first time, two good pitchers. Joe Kelly on the mound. Davis getting the double off the wall, ending up at second base. And the Orioles getting a one-run lead. Jimenez on, throwing strikes, and then he hits Sandoval, gets thrown out of the game for reasons that we don't know. Clearly neither did he. Buck Showalter's been told something by the home plate umpire, but we're going to have to wait for a while to find out what that's all about. Sandoval back at third base. And the breaking ball by Kelly is going to be in there for a strike. Caleb Joseph leading it off for the Orioles. Cabrera and then Jonathan Scope. Joseph with a walk, stranded in the second inning. And Caleb on a swing and a good pitch down and away. For the Orioles, a run on 3 hits. The Red Sox have zeros across. Going into the 5th, it was a double play ground ball that the Orioles were able to score Snyder on. He led the 4th inning off with a single, followed by a Jones single. That one down the line. That's a short porch. Will it stay fair? And against the wall. Did he catch it? Come on, show me the ball. Show me the ball. Or did it go over? You got to keep running. He got caught over there on the wall. I still don't know. I think it's a home run. The umpire's down there looking, and there's the sign. Caleb Joseph has delivered a homer. Nobody knew if that was in the glove or not of Shane Victorino, who went chasing it, had the glove up there, and the ball ricochets off and goes into the first row. And Caleb Joseph gets the short porch Fenway homer. And the Orioles have a 2-0 lead.
Wow, that
what
ball's
a game this is turning out to be.
Yeah. Fading down that right field line down the pesky pole, and I think right when Victorino thought he was going to catch that baseball, that's when the wall caught his ribs, and he's trying to shake it off right now. Ball hooking down the line. He's got a beat, and boom, contact is made, and at about the same time the ball hits the glove, and it just couldn't stay in there. I mean, potentially a broken rib or two. He hit hard.
Paul Emmel, the second base umpire, went running down and did not give a sign because he didn't know whether the ball had been caught or not. We'll see whether Victorino is going to be able to stay in the ball game. But for Caleb Joseph, credit him with a home run, his first of the year. It's his 3rd RBI. He continues red hot at the plate. Wasn't a whole lot of celebrating that went on because nobody knew if it really was a homer or not. Farrell coming out. I don't know if he wants to question whether this was a fair or foul ball or what.
Or potential fan interference or
yeah,
something.
Could
too.
be a fan interference. It's going to be one of those nights. So Jerry Meals, he's the crew chief over at first base. They'll go over to talk to the folks in New York. He will take Paul Emmel the second base umpire over there with him, and Caleb Joseph's had a lot to wonder about so far in this game.
Right.
Saw his starting pitcher thrown out, and then did the fan interfere with this?
Where's that look? Really hard to say. I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Inconclusive anyway, right?
Yeah.
If we say it's hard to tell, then it's got to be inconclusive.
Then the play will stand. Yeah.
And I know Caleb, they showed the stat after Caleb's home run when he picks up an RBI. The Orioles 19-1 since last May, so he's hoping that one sticks, and the Orioles hoping it does too.
Well, it didn't take very long. They've already done the talk to New York that fan interference is part of what can be reviewed. They took a quick look at it and said no. So the Orioles have the 2-0 lead. Caleb Joseph still has the home run, and sometime later in the season they'll celebrate. Talk about the silent treatment when you get a home run. Everyone is just looking out at right field. And the delivery by Kelly will be fouled back by Cabrera, strikeout victim, his first time up. A big hit. Caleb Joseph, that is the first home run surrendered by Kelly on the year. Caleb just goes back and puts on the equipment.
Yeah, well, pretty nice approach. Caleb's had some good at bats in this ball game. A nice walk in his first at bat, but the first pitch of his second at bat was a hard slider, and he really kind of cheated for it, and the front shoulder pulled off. So there was a little self-talk about let the ball travel, get it deep, and he got a fastball and get down that right field line. That's where you want to hit it here at Fenway Park.
Yeah, he's actually had 2 home runs now here at Fenway. He's gone 7 for 18 in this ballpark with 2 home runs. Pretty darn good.
It is.
1 ball, 1 strike count. Everett Cabrera, and he'll go after it down to first base. Napoli and Kelly over, and there is the first out of the 5th inning. The Orioles were proud to join Major League Baseball honoring Jackie Robinson this week. Each player coach wearing number 42, of course. You can join in by bidding on these game-worn jerseys at Orioles.com/auction. Every jersey has been autographed by the player who wore it. Proceeds will benefit the Baltimore Orioles Charitable Foundation and the Jackie Robinson Foundation. So own a piece of history. Go to Orioles.com/auction right now and make your bid. So you have through Wednesday to do it. Here is Jonathan Scope. That one will be bounced. Scope grounded out, robbed of a hit on a fine play by Bogarts. His first time to the plate. I think the fans are still trying to figure out what's going on here. 1-0 count. And that's going to be way outside. 96 on the fastball. 2-0 from Kelly.
Yeah, he can yank that fastball, and if his rhythm and timing isn't right with his delivery, he'll let it sail up and in as well. So you can tell when things go wrong. He holds on to it a little too long and yanks it, or he flies open a little too soon. So it's just finding that happy medium where he can have better command over the plate.
2 ball, 1 strike count. Jonathan Scope with 1 away, nobody on. Kelly's delivery to him, and that'll be chopped down to third. Sandoval charging. Short hop. Running throw in the dirt. Down goes Scope. The out is called. Is he all right? He tripped over the bag or the leg. It looked like the bag going by first.
Yeah, well, Jonathan had a little leg problem here last week. Had to miss a game. Nice play by Sandoval, and he reaches out there, catches the bag, and then the other foot, I think, catches a piece of Napoli. Take a look, the stride, and then, yeah, the left foot catches Napoli's ankle, and down he goes.
My gosh. What else are we going to have in this ball game?
Crash
that's
there.
That's so scary to see that, because you can, I mean, pull muscles, twist ankles.
Oh yeah, both players potentially could risk injury there.
Scope ran off. Looks as though he's all right. And there are 2 down. So 2 away, nobody on. Run in. Joseph home run leading it off. Alejandro De Aza, he has struck out and grounded out. Sandoval will play in at third base. The only thing I was just thinking, I'm wondering, is there any way that the ball game last night between Tampa Bay and Toronto affected the quick call throwing Jimenez out?
Quite possibly, because you know that gets around.
Yeah.
Well, it gets around real fast, and umpires meet about it as well.
And the league calls the umpires about it, because last night they just had a free-for-all in beanballing. I guess that's all the 3 batters who I think were hit, but they were hit hard. Longoria had to come out of the game. You wonder whether or not the umpires may have been talked to today about let's not let anything else happen like that. I don't know. That's a complete guess.
Well, I think throwing a pitcher out, got a no-hitter going, hasn't given up a hit, and he hits one hitter, and you throw him out of game. That might be a little too aggressive.
Interesting. 2-1 strike count with 2 down. Alejandro De Aza. Pitch inside. Just missed. Again, Kelly takes these counts, 3-ball counts, a lot of them in the game. He's up to 98 pitches. We're in the 5th inning.
Yeah. You credit the Orioles hitters, too, for working the count.
That hit his foot.
That's really the goal of an offense, is try to get that starter out of there, make him work, make him scared to throw it over the plate. Piazza to stay quick on this and just hammering it down off that shin guard. There's already a bruise under there. He just whistles that one down off the foot and the ankle.
So De Aza's got to walk this one off. Richie Van Sel's the trainer of the Orioles coming out. He's got the guard on, but you saw where it hit.
Yeah, and that's not a soft guard either. That's the hard, more like catching gear guard. So that's definitely been some aggravation under there. He's really trying to protect that area. So it was hit before, and he must have got it about the same spot.
This ball game was rolling right along. Then we came to the 5th inning. Actually, the end of the 4th. Since Jimenez was thrown out, we've had about everything else happen that can happen. 3-ball, 2-strike count. And didn't hurt the swing. That'll be caught in center by Betts for the out. The Orioles have run on a hit. Home run, Joseph, and they lead it 2-0. Against Clay Buchholz, game 2 of this 4-game set. Our coverage on MASN 2 begins at 3:30. O's Extra presented by Jeep, followed by our game coverage at 4. It's 4 o'clock, Mike. All the access you need right here on MASN.
I'm going to try to remember that, Gary. Thanks
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And what was it on Sunday, 1:30?
NWJZ, too.
Oh, okay. Should be a good matchup tomorrow. Both those starting pitchers looking to bounce back after a rough second start. So
Buchholz apologized.
Right?
He apologized for his performance and for not doing the. Look, we got an argument at the plate. No, I'm sorry. Looked like Pedroia was in Joseph's face. They're going to back off. Shane Victorino had a word to say to him, but he's laughing now, so I guess he was just kidding him. He went right up into his face, though. So Victorino will lead it off here, then Bogaerts and Hannigan. This is Kevin Gausman on the mound. And the pitch will be taken inside for a ball. In the last start Buchholz had, he got so involved in pitching so poorly that he forgot to do the things he's supposed to do, like back up bases. Didn't do it, and came out and said, I apologize. So there's no excuse for the way I pitched or the way I forgot to do the things I'm supposed to do. Played at second base. Jonathan Scopes got a Victorino, is retired. Take a look at our PNC minor league report.
Pretty familiar face here. TJ McFarland getting the start down in AAA Norfolk, going 4 1/3 innings. Gave up the 5 hits, so just one earned run, 3 punch outs and a walk. So, he's trying. You will see him again, obviously, this season for as much or as many moves as the Orioles make with their minor leagues. And TJ, such a huge part of this Orioles bullpen, and even some spot starts for the last couple of years. And Buck really has a great deal of respect, so it's good to see that he had a nice start there at AAA.
Xander Bogaerts hit into a fielder's choice first time up. We're in the 5th inning. Orioles have a 2-0 lead. First meeting these two teams this season. That one by Kevin Gausman will miss down low for a ball. One ball, 1 strike count. Red Sox still looking for their first hit. Delivery to him. Bogaerts down to third, over the bag. There it is. Fair ball, not touched by the fans. He'll make a big turn, but he'll stay. Good play by Diaz. So Bogaerts delivers a single, and the Red Sox have a hit.
That was a nice play there by Diaz. Bogaerts getting that first hit on the board for the Red Sox here, hooking it right down the line, just over the base. And as it goes down the line, one of the quirks here at Fenway Park, left field line kind of jets out, so the ball hits off that Budweiser sign there, and Diaz, well aware of that, hustles in to keep Bogaerts at first base, keep that double play in order. Nice defensive play, even though the hit was given up.
You said it all. Here is Ryan Hannigan. Hannigan, a strikeout victim, his first time up. Bogaerts on with the base hit. Top of the order, Betts waiting on deck. Gausman out of the stretch. And the pitch on the inside corner for a strike. We were just checking. We talked about Chris Tillman's going to start tomorrow. The change in the ruling in his first start, where the error charged to Snyder, where 3 runs scored, was altered by Major League Baseball to a hit, making the runs all earned. Tillman's ERA went from 3.86 to 7.7 on one change in the rule. 2 strike count.
Yeah, it's tough here early on for all players, and that's why most players want to get off to a good start, to feel good about those numbers, so that way they don't fluctuate so much. At the beginning of the season, you can take an 0 for 10, then have a good weekend and be hitting over 300. And same with pitching. The innings have to start ratcheting up a little bit for the numbers to start to stabilize, and they'll jump around until the middle of May and start getting into June.
The Orioles bullpen called on again in this game. They've been scored on in every game this year. That's 9 games. It's 3 more than the longest streak of last year. The bullpen being scored on. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Pitch on the way, fouled off. Reaching that time was Hannigan, and fighting it off. Mojica's in the bullpen because of the number of pitches thrown by Joe Kelly. So I think it'll force their bullpen to be used a little earlier than what John Farrell had wanted to do in this game. 1-2, 1 down. Not a big lead at first. Bogaerts has got good speed. Gausman's delivery, big cut, fouled straight back.
Good fastball. Caleb Joseph wanting the fastball up in the zone. You can tell with the flash of the glove right there, and Kevin put it exactly where he wanted it. Hannigan, a good job to fight it off and keep this at bat alive.
Hannigan had the day of days for a player. He got traded twice in the same day. It's his first season with Boston. He went from the Rays to the Padres and then over to the Red Sox in the same day. That one is very deep, very high, way back, and goodbye home run. One swing of the bat, Ryan Hanigan, and this game is tied.
Well, the off-speed pitch, the slider, is what Kevin Gausman has been trying to polish, and Hanigan kind of polished that one over the green monster after really challenging him with fastballs in this at bat. You see the slider backing up, just a cement mixer coming in, and stays on that inner third. And Hanigan's been geared up for the fastball. So, like you hear Jim Palmer say all the time, it speeds up his bat, and he gets to it. He's got a new ball game.
His first home run of the year. Hanigan makes it 2-2. Breaking ball, and he did go around on that, says Jerry Meals. Betts, top of the order, has drawn a walk, and he is grounded out. Kevin Gausman surrenders the long ball. 2 hits in the game back-to-back for Boston here in the 5th.
Well, that slider that he just threw is the one that he wanted to throw to Hanigan. Just bury it, make it hard, to look like your fastball, and you get a check swing possible.
Gausman's delivery will be on the outside corner. Kevin Gausman has given up a couple of home runs now. Numbers continue to climb for him. So he's given up 7 runs on 7 hits in 4 2/3 innings. Here's the 0-2 delivery, and that'll miss down low. That one up there to 98. And a 1-ball, 2-strike count.
Now, there's no question he's got a great fastball. He has great life with the fastball. The velocity has been up at 100 miles an hour already this season.
Betts, did he go again? Yes, he did. So he is out of there for the second out.
It's that pitch right there that he has to become more consistent with. And this is where you have to throw it down and out of the zone. You'll get the chases if you're throwing 98, 99 miles an hour. If you want to start a hitter off with a get-me-over breaking ball, hey, that's all well and good. If you want to finish hitters off, throw the hard slider down in the dirt. Well executed there for the second out.
Now Kevin Gausman will face Dustin Pedroia. Pedroia's hit into a double play, and he has struck out. He will take the pitch outside for a ball. Pedroia 3 for 8. The times he has faced Kevin Gausman. A most interesting ball game underway that started very quietly and has quickly moved to a little bit of everything. 1-0 delivery on the way, and that one is going to miss down low for a ball. Gold Glove winner. He's got 4 of them now at second base. Picking one up last year for his work defensively.
It's funny. I came out on the field before any of the teams were out there. The Orioles had some early batting practice, so they had cleared off. And what player was out taking ground balls with third base coach Brian Butterfield? But Dustin Pedroia. And I went up to him and I said, "Why does this guy need work? Didn't he win a Gold Glove last year? And hasn't he been an MVP before?" And he goes, "This guy's the best. He's always out here trying to make himself better." And he said, "Well, this is double play day, so they were working on some 4 or 6 double plays." That's what it's all about. He's a blue-collar guy, and he's loved around here at Fenway Park, and I think he's very well respected throughout the league the way he plays the game.
It's the reason he got the Gold Gloves and the MVPs. 2-ball, 2-strike count from Gausman on Pedroia. 2 down, bases empty. Pedroia will go after it to second base. Played by Jonathan Scope. Bobbles a bit, recovers, and makes the play for the out. About a single by Bogaerts, followed by the Hanigan home run, and this ball game is tied at 2.
the 4th inning, 2 outs, and first pitch, you get Sandoval in the back, and what? Ubaldo is thrown out of the game. He's saying, what are you talking about? Caleb, same way. Buck, everybody out there to argue with home plate umpire Jordan Baker about why did you throw him out of the ball game. Ubaldo had a no-hitter going. He did walk 3 batters. That one got away from him, and Buck needs a better explanation. He's been hot, and can't wait to hear his explanation.
I can't either. Pitch on the way line, drive into the shift, and Pedroia can't hang on to it. That ball was stung by Steve Pearce. We'll wait for the call on that one. The shift, so Pedroia was over on the shortstop side, and it went into the glove, but it went right through it.
Well, you got to believe it was knuckling. Steve Pearce squaring this pitch up, and it must have just darted at the end away from Pedroia. Catches a piece of the leather. Obviously feels like he should have caught it. Steve Pearce wanting to hit there.
So the Orioles will get the leadoff man on here in the 6th inning. They had the leadoff man on in the 4th when they scored, when Snyder got a single. Came around to score. Home run hit by Joseph, his first of the year, the 2 for the Orioles. 2-run homer by Hannigan for the Red Sox. Orioles now with 4 hits in the game. Here is Snyder. One of those base hits. He's 1 for 2 in the ball game. 101 pitches thrown by Kelly. Now we talk about calls that are going to get changed on the score sheet. I bet this one gets changed. Pedroia has been charged with an error on that ball. Not that it's an unfair call. Let's stake a little money on it gets overturned.
Well, it will if it was knuckling. But you know what? I don't know that Dustin will say anything.
No, I don't think he will either. But somebody on the Red Sox will.
Yeah.
Pitch is taken outside, as they know Dustin won't. And one of the things for a Gold Glover, you want to keep every error down that you can.
Sure.
So we'll see. In any event, Pearce is on. And a 3-0 count. Travis Snyder. See if he takes. He does. It's a strike. Kelly now up to 104 pitches. The bullpen has remained active. You got to believe they don't want him going much further than this.
Yeah,
it's only his 2nd start.
Yeah, only his 2nd start. And the reason why it's only his 2nd start, and he had to miss his 1st one because he had a problem with his forearm. So. Or his right bicep is what it was.
That's a broken bat to right field. Victorino will get there. One away. Tex Masson's word of the day: strength. 29292 for your chance for a meet and greet with Buck Showalter, presented by Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield, who encourages each of us to take that first step towards a healthier and more active lifestyle. That's exactly what I did today. Got my workout in today. Immediately headed to Emilio Ambrolio and had a black and white shake.
That's nice.
Why else do you work out?
Right? Just to break even.
It's just a break even. Exactly. Dow Jones was up, the NASDAQ was down. Here's Adam Jones, a base hit. He struck out as well. Runner remains at first base. Pearce with 1 out. And the pitch taken outside. In fact, I was talking with John Farrell before the game today, and he said, you know, we brought Kelly back in the rotation a game earlier than we wanted to. We really wanted him to have another time through before he started for us. But because of that 19-inning game in New York, we had to make a move early, and he felt good in his side session in Philadelphia, so he said okay. And now here he is throwing 107 pitches so far in his 2nd start of the year.
Yeah, hasn't lost any velocity either. Still 98 miles an hour with that fastball. Be feeling good. You see his arm, the right arm, wrapped up there. He missed the start of the season with that right bicep soreness.
Adam with a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Pierce off first base, and Hicks all the way to the backstop on that one on a tip. 1-2.
Yeah, that ball just takes off up and into the right. He's a tough pitch. It looks like it's going to be just a hanging fastball, but that extra life there and velocity, 95, 96 miles an hour, it just zooms up and in on the right. He's tough to get the bat head on that pitch.
Hot bat at the plate, as you saw, for the Orioles. He hit 366 against the Red Sox last year. Throw over, runner back. See, on the season last year for Adam against Boston, he had 9 extra base hits to go with that 366 average. He had 13 RBIs and 11 runs scored last season against him. That's a year.
Yeah, he's doing some damage. He tore up a lot of teams last season. Actually has for a number of years now.
1 ball, 2 strike count with 1 down. Kelly's delivery, and that'll be way up high again, almost getting away. Hannigan displaying his flexibility yet one more time. He has been all over the place hauling in these fastballs.
Right? How do you make that play? I mean, he's in a full squat position. He's got to get up, actually get his feet off the ground to retrieve that 96-mile-an-hour heater.
So Jones gets it evened up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Shorten the lead of Pierce here at first by a step. Kelly's delivery to him, and that's going to go to right field. Victorino in place. Jones retired. 2 down. Fans can once again select a player to be immortalized, if that's the word, in a bobblehead giveaway, part of the AT&T Fans Choice bobblehead. Visit Orioles.com/bobblehead. You can vote for Zach Britton, Wayne Chen, Darren O'Day, Bud Norris, Steve Pierce. 1 for Zach, 2 for Chen, 3 for O'Day, 4 for Norris, 5 for Pierce, 31826. And each time you vote, your vote will automatically be entered to win a VIP experience, including tickets to the October 4 game, an autographed bobblehead, pregame on-field experience. That's Orioles.com/bobblehead. Here is Chris Davis. Shift fully in effect here. Davis will take the pitch away for a ball. Chris has picked up a double. He has hit into a double play. 242, a homer, 5 RBIs. We'd like to do Caleb Joseph right here. Short porch home run down the right field line.
Yeah, Chris Davis really has to be patient here and just kind of set his sights for up and out over. His first at bat, he was working him on that outer third. So you figure maybe a little fatigue. Most pitches he's thrown this season, coming off a sore right arm. This is where a mistake could be made. You know that the manager for the Red Sox, John Farrell, is keeping his fingers crossed here and hopes that he can get out of this inning.
The big cut on 1 up, and Kelly has thrown a lot of pitches up to Davis. Now they'll change the shift here.
See this guy's fastball just riding up and out of the zone. Good velocity too.
They move Sandoval to the second base side, and Bogart's the shortstop back on the shortstop side. So the third baseman is playing at second. And Davis is gone. Takes it for a strike. Sorry. Strike 2, 1 and 2.
No mistake there. It was just painted on the outside corner, 95 miles an hour.
It's quite a performance here with the 115th pitch coming up. Pierce reached on the air. He's still at first base. 1-2 delivery on the way. You know, John Farrell wants to see Kelly get a final out here so that the next Red Sox half inning, anything scored would count for him and might give him a chance to be a winning pitcher in the ball game. Yet at the same time, you don't want an injury.
All right. You see that 115 pitches. A lot of fastballs, over 70%. And there's a look at the Nissan pitch track. Pretty much everything on that outer third, trying to work and get a chase off the plate.
Here's the 1-2 delivery again. That bounces all the way to the backstop. Hannigan hurt his hand trying to swing around and find out where the ball was. His throwing hand. Wild pitch.
And a changeup here after 4 fastballs. Holds on to it. Bounces at about 40 feet. And it looks like it might have caught the fingertips on the bounce.
This is tough for Farrell right now. Are you leaving him in 1 pitch too many? That's what he's over there thinking. You know he is.
Or 15 too many?
Yeah, or 15 too. Yeah, really.
You know?
You're hoping not. Juan Nieves, the pitching coach. You going One more out. One more out. Throw one more pitch and get out of there.
Yeah.
But the one more pitch Davis is going to be looking for is the one he pitched down the middle of the plate trying to get out of the inning. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 down, and now a runner in scoring position. Pierce on at second base. And Davis will take that one again high and away.
Good patience from Chris Davis is a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. So even with 117 pitches thrown, still a strong arm with a good life.
You got to believe this is it, don't you? If he doesn't get Davis.
Oh yeah, I got to believe. I didn't think he was going to be coming back up for this inning.
I didn't either, because the bullpen's been ready. 3 ball, 2 strike delivery on the way. Davis is going to be on with a walk. Second walk surrendered by Kelly. So an error and a walk, and the Orioles have runners on at first and second base. And that's as long as John Farrell can wait. So the base runner's the responsibility of Kelly.
Impressive effort right there by Kelly. Loses it with the changeup. Great at bat by Chris Davis, though.
All game tied at 2. The Red Sox go to the pen.
Took him 118 pitches to get to that point. He only gave up the 4 hits. Won a solo shot, Caleb Joseph, and the Orioles able to push another run across the board. And Chris Davis grounded into a double play. Well, now it's time for the Jiffy Lube pitching change. It's time for a little relief for your car, too. Visit Jiffy Lube for regular oil changes and help prevent damage and wear to your engine. Jiffy Lube, drive in today. Edward Mujica, take a look at his pitch arsenal. The fastball 52% of the time, breaking ball 4%, and the changeup at 44%. Now, not an overpowering fastball by any means, but that changeup is really what helped him become a closer in the National League and then on to the Red Sox to help solidify the back end of this bullpen.
So here's Manny Machado. Runners on at first and second base, 2 down. Veteran Mujica, 30 years old. First pitch will just miss away for a ball. Machado's faced him only once. He is 0 for 1. The Orioles are 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position tonight. Pierce started the inning reaching on an error, then with 2 down, Davis drew the walk. That chased Kelly. Mojica's pitch swung on and missed. 84-mile-an-hour dipper going down and away. Mojica's a workhorse. A lot of innings every year. He's got over 7 years major league experience. He had 64 outings, 60 innings. Last season he went 2-4, ended up with 8 saves on the year last season. Koji O'Hara, of course, is back with Boston now out of the bullpen as their closer. Pitch will miss away and a 2-ball 1-strike count.
Yeah, Mujica stepped in the Cardinals and actually became their closer and had a lot of success there, and then came over to the Red Sox and Figured he would be at the back end of this bullpen with Tazawa and O'Hara. This is the way they're lined up. It should be 7, 8, 9 with Mojica, then Tazawa and O'Hara.
John Farrell was saying today, he said he thinks the days of the long reliever are gone. He said you're not going to see many more swingmen or long relievers. There's not room for them in the bullpen, and the jobs are too specific. And too many matchups are looked at. That ball he got out in front of into the seats. Right or wrong. Interesting thought. Maybe another change in the game.
Yeah, well, I think there has to be kind of a place for a long reliever, because what happens if your pitcher gets thrown out of the game for hitting
that
a
wouldn't
guy
happen.
early in a ball game?
No.
Yeah,
Really?
I saw that happen just
You
recently. Yeah, or if a guy gets knocked out, early in a ball game. So you need somebody to get that length, because you can't specialize the whole way through your bullpen. And that's why we had T.J. McFarland on the PNC minor league report how valuable he was. He is a versatile pitcher.
Yep.
He can match up, he can start, and I think John Farrell appreciates the versatility of his position players.
3-2, the runner's going, fouled off.
And understands that probably pitchers need to have that as well. Somebody that can do a lot of different things in a bullpen adds a lot of value to your bullpen.
Well, he got going to add some value here. The runners, of course, the responsibility of starter Joe Kelly. Off here with a 3-2 count, 2 down. Which gives the advantage Orioles if Manny Machado can pick up a base hit. 3-2 delivery again, and a swing and a miss. Scooped out by Hannibal. So Mojica comes on and gets the K. No runs, no hits, and error. 2 are left on. 2-2. To us last week talking about it. Playing Pepper originated in 1922 with one of baseball's great teams, the House of David baseball team, which was a team that traveled around the country playing exhibition games, kind of like the Harlem Globetrotters. They were excellent baseball players. They'd have 3 performers lined up, a couple of feet apart. 4th player acted as a batter, and then you hit ground balls back and forth. The players who catch it throw it behind their back, throw it over their head. They do tricks. It was kind of a show performance that they ended up doing usually in the middle of the 5th inning. It came to be called Pepper in about 1926. The original name for it was High-Low, is what they originally called the game, and then it became Pepper. And that's where that comes from, the Pepper game. And we have been wrangled, I say we, Palmer, Bordick, Dempsey, myself probably. We're going to play Pepper in the bullpen when we get back to Baltimore.
Nice.
Well, not necessarily.
Why?
But David Ortiz takes a pitch away, and we're going to put it on video, which I'm sure will be exciting, and then play it during the game, providing nobody's hurt or seriously injured.
Then I'm out.
Yeah, then it'll really be on. Here's the delivery to Ortiz. He shows bunt. He was taking all the way on the delivery from Gosman. So if you've never seen a Pepper game played, you're going to see us play it. You still won't have seen it played, but you'll be laughing. Did you play Pepper?
Of course.
In your time?
Yes, I did.
It's wonderful. 3-0 count. Ortiz bat on shoulder. It's there for a strike. He is flied out, grounded out. Ramirez, Sandoval to follow.
Yeah, it's one of the great drills that really covers everything. Everything the game has to offer. Catching the ball, throwing the ball, bat control.
3-1 pitch on the way to him. Ortiz will take it. He's on with a walk. So Ortiz draws a free pass to start the 6th inning. Jimenez, before he was thrown out, and walked 3, struck out 2 in 3 2/3 innings, had not given up a hit. Kevin Gausman given up the 2 runs on 2 hits with a walk and a strikeout so far. So the leadoff man on for the first time in the game for Boston. And Ramirez, who has grounded out twice, stands in. And Ramirez, a 263 number on the year. The Oriole infield at double play depth. Went for the knees. It'll miss a little bit down low. Ball 1.
Well, not a bad pitch right there. And this is something that Kevin has had to learn as far as location of the fastball. So important. Let's take a look at Darren O'Day warming up in the Orioles bullpen, and you do not want to make mistakes to the heart of this order. Ramirez can do some damage in a hurry. Already 4 home runs on the season, and one of the things in his eye is that green monster.
That one is off the plate. Baltimore chop. Only play at second. Ortiz 1. So thank goodness it was David Ortiz running that time, or the chance even to get the force play out at second base might not have happened.
Yeah, really, it was fortunate for the Orioles, but a nice play by Manny here. The chopper, Baltimore chop off the plate. Manny, knowing the speed, takes his time, easily gets that force out of second base. And players might panic in this situation if you don't know the runners. Easy out there.
So now runner at first base will be Ramirez. And here's Sandoval. Sandoval plunked by Jimenez in the 4th inning, and Jimenez immediately thrown out of the ball game, apparently for throwing at him intentionally, in the opinion of Jordan Baker, the home plate umpire. Kevin Gausman's delivery to him at hard right at second, off Scope's arm. Into center field. Jones will back it up. That's got to be a base hit. That ball was really stung.
Yeah, that ball is smoked, and really the only thing Jonathan Scope can do is just try to get as low as possible, but it's on him so quick. Gets behind the umpire as well. He tries to get the head back there. He gets a little in between, and the ball kicks up. Just up and over the glove. Yeah, off the forearm a little bit.
3rd hit for the Red Sox, and that will be it for Kevin Gausman. So the Orioles will begin to mix and match here in the 6th inning of this ball game. Darren O'Day, has been warming up in the pen for the Orioles. Ball game.
this season and last season and the season before, pretty much right down the middle, 50% fastball, 50% breaking balls. Of course, he does have two different type of fastballs, though. He has that sinker and the one he can ride to the top, almost that rising effect. This year, that 2.08 earned run average. He loves coming into these crucial situations.
Mike Napoli will be the hitter. Runners at first and second, one down. Right-hander so far, 2 for 13 off O'Day with 1 home run. Left-handers only a couple of at-bats, 0 for 2 against him. So Napoli with a big chance here. The Red Sox have not led in the ball game, trailed 2-0 prior to the home run by Hannigan in the 5th inning. Base hit here could put him on top. Ramirez at second, Sandoval on at first base. And that pitch will be taken down low. O'Day, 1 ball, 1 strike count.
Real good command with that slider. Can keep it on the plate. He can work it off the plate. Just a little bit of movement. Really tough for a right-handed hitter to be patient with that pitch and trust that it's going to stay on the plate. As soon as Darren thinks that a hitter is cheating, he will sweep it a little bit further. A lot of big outs that way.
1-1 delivery on the way. Napoli goes after one up high. Napoli has had a long ball off O'Day. He is 2 for 12 with 1 home run against the Oriole right-hander. Darren again looks like it's going to be another workhorse year. This is going to be his 5th appearance. He's worked 4 1/3 innings. 1-2 delivery, and there's that pitch away, and he got him.
Yeah, beautiful slider from Darren O'Day. Not as good as you can throw one. Might even have been a called strike here. 2 strikes, and Napoli's got to protect a little bit, but can he wait long enough on the slider? You see, when it starts to make its move to the outside corner, it actually kind of slows down a little bit and fades off the plate. Big out, big second out for O'Day.
Victorino is due up at the plate. We're going to get a pinch hitter. Daniel Nava is coming out to pinch hit. So Nava will come for Shane Victorino. Victorino had a walk and he popped out. Nava is, he'll get a lot of playing time for the Red Sox again this season. On the year, 15 at bats so far, and he's had 5 hits, including a double and 5 RBIs for Nava. Nava's 2 for 4, lifetime off O'Day. 2 on and 2 down. We said left-handers 0 for 2 so far against O'Day on the season.
Nava's had his success against the Orioles in his career, which spans 52 games. He's hitting over 300, so he's had his success, and obviously the matchup as well for manager John Farrell.
Delivery to Nava will be inside. O'Day last year, left-handers hit 189 and right-handers 164. Not much either way. 4 home runs by lefties, 2 by righties last season.
Well, Darren, over the last couple of years, we've heard him talk about ways he's going to try to make himself better against lefties, so we try to work on the changeup.
That ball put him in the air to right field. Snyder is there, and he's got it. And that will retire the side. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. 2 are left on base. 7th inning coming up from Fenway. Texas dealer 5 years running. See why. Lexus of Towson.
Caleb Joseph getting on a Joe Kelly fastball, hooking it down the right field line. It's the pesky pole. But did Victorino catch it or not? Everybody's turning around wonder. No, the only thing he caught was possibly a couple broken ribs on that right field wall.
I love Johnny Pesky. Miss him, seeing him here at the ballpark every game. He passed away. He always said, I never understood why that pole became the Pesky pole. I never hit a home run down there. There's Daniel Nava playing in right field. Victorino out. Good ball game, 7th inning. And yet another close one. 2-4-0 for the Orioles. 2-3-1 for the Red Sox. Home run by Joseph. And the RBI, no RBI, and a double play ground ball for the Orioles' first run. Foul back into the string, Caleb. 4-game hit streak for him now. Nahica came on in the last inning, recorded the final out, stays on to pitch here.
Yeah, pretty good pitching duel here in this ball game. Of course, Joe Kelly and Ubaldo. It's unfortunate Ubaldo got ejected from this game. There are a lot of reasons. Obviously, it didn't seem like intent was there. It seemed like a pretty quick decision by the home plate umpire. But also, this is going to be a demanding road trip here.
Yes.
3 more games left here at Fenway Park, and then on to Toronto. And if you'd like your starting pitcher to get deeper into a game, so you don't have to get into that bullpen and tax the arms.
Pitch will be away.
Unfortunately, Bucks had to do that in this ball game.
So Caleb Joseph, a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Jimenez thrown out of the ball game, 4th inning, when he hit Sandoval. Here's the 2-2 delivery on the way, and that ball in the air towards center. Betts backs up and puts it away. For every Orioles walk, Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield contributes $50 for the March of Dimes. The O's have 28 walks, $1,400. Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield encourages each of us to take that first step towards a healthier and more active lifestyle. With Mike Bordick, I'm Gary Thorne. Great to have you with us on this Friday night here in Boston. Gorgeous evening, 63 when we started the ball game. Temperature doesn't change very much. Been no breeze. A very still evening here. And the pitch is taken for a strike. Cabrera is struck out, grounded out. We'll be back with you tomorrow. Game 2, Chris Tillman, Clay Buchholz. 3:30 O's extra, 4 o'clock for the ball game. Another check swing, a check at third, no.
Mojica's changeup is actually a split finger, and he throws some really good ones. I mean, great arm action, keeps the ball down in the zone. There's some good late movement on there, and then he'll try to surprise you with his 4-seam fastball.
Didn't surprise him, and he's got a base hit. Put that one right down the middle. So Cabrera's on. 4-game hit streak for him. Comes with 1 away here in the 7th inning. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Orioles may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated, always a very fine word, without the express written consent of the Orioles. Do not disseminate. Causes great consternation. 1 down. It's consternation.
Are we allowed to say this stuff?
Yes.
Well, I haven't said it. You've said it.
Oh,
so you're in trouble.
Sure. Thanks for being a good foxhole mate there. Here is Jonathan Scope. He has grounded out twice, once robbed on a hit by Bogarts, the shortstop, in a fine play. Big lead, Cabrera. That draws the throw. He stepped off a good lead.
Well, we've been waiting for the stolen base to shake it up a little bit here. Great speed, potential speed. Stole 44 bases, 37 bases back-to-back years when he was with the Padres. You're getting on base in a crucial ball game. You know that the Red Sox are paying attention to that speed. Let's see if Cabrera can get a jump.
Quick step off throw. Cabrera's not tried to steal a base yet. The Orioles 2 for 4 as a team. Hannigan's thrown out 2 of 5. Attempted base stealers doing the catching in the ball game tonight. There he is. So let's see how the Orioles play this in the 7th inning, looking for a go-ahead run. Runner not going anywhere, and that ball's foul. It'll be a long foul, but it's still foul. Out of the ballpark, I think.
Yeah.
It's hard to hit a ball out of the ballpark here. There are too many signs nowadays. You got to hit it under one or over one or between them in order to leave Fenway. 0-1 count, one away. That one nubbed off the end of the bat. So Mojica gets ahead of him 0-2.
You're seeing the good command that he possesses. Really, that's what he's all about, command and control. He's really serving up any good balls to hit. Well, that first pitch was right down the heart. And of course, Scopey pulled it up over out of the stadium, as you said.
A little closer, Cabrera back. Relief pitching has been better than starters through the first 9 games for Boston. Red Sox starters ERA second highest in the league. The bullpen 7th in the American League. And Scope gets a hold of that one to left field. Ramirez going back, shy of the warning track, now on it, and will put it away. And back goes Cabrera to first base. 2 down. Get your copy of the Orioles' all-new official legacy book, Baltimore Orioles 60 Years of Oriole Magic. The book features behind-the-scenes stories, photos from the team's first 6 decades, special introduction by our own Jim Palmer. All Orioles full or partial season plan members get a 20% discount. To reserve your copy, go to Orioles.com/book today. Yunichi Ozawa in the bullpen. 2 down bases with a runner at first base, and that will bring up De Aza, and Cabrera continuing to draw attention. De Aza's gone 0 for 3. Each time Sandoval at third's moved in. No exception here. We're going to take that bunt away.
Try to make something happen here. We've talked in this ball game, they're playing Diaza and Cabrera in at third base with a runner at first. The holes are all over the field. It's a matter of getting a good part of the bat on it, trying to find one of those holes. Keep this inning going.
Feel pretty deep. Cabrera and Mojica, pretty good matchup here in the throws over.
I wouldn't be surprised if Cabrera tries to go here in this situation. If he gets in scoring position, hey, that's great. If not, then you have Diaza leading off the next inning.
And there he goes. Swung on and missed. Hannigan's throw high. He stayed on the bag, and he's in there with a stolen base. His first, the Orioles' third.
There you go. Took a little while, but came in hot there to get the stolen base. Gets himself in scoring position. You see the jump. Now, he's done this before. A lot of stolen bases in his young career, but bottom half sticks and the face catches some dirt. And he's out there in scoring position. Hannigan's throw, he knows he's got to be quick. He just gets it down there as quick as he can, lets it fly up the line a little bit. Ooh, and you see the face plant by Cabrera.
Wham, right there. So now the RBI chance goes to Diaza. 1-1, 2 down. Mojica's delivery to him came inside and pulled it foul. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Tough to get a ball up in the air off Mojica with a splitter when he throws it, and he's effective with it, and he usually is.
Diaza's been seeing the ball pretty well here at the beginning of this young season. He's been putting together some really good at bats.
1-2 delivery again. Diaza will reach and protect on that one and foul it back. Orioles involved in 1-run ball games. So far they are 2-1 in 1-run games. Red Sox are 2-0. Very early on, some very tight games in that New York series. 1-2 delivery again. Ground ball to second base. Pedroia hustles it over and records the out. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. Orioles gave it a whirl here in the 7th inning on the stolen base by Cabrera, but he gets stranded. 7th inning stretch time in Boston, 2-2. DraftKings. Play daily fantasy baseball for free on DraftKings.com. Enter promo code TRIPLEPLAY for free entry. Fenway Park, Boston on a very nice Friday night. And the ball game is tied up at 2-2 going to the bottom half of the 7th inning. Big house on hand to watch it. And a lot of Oriole fans up for the marathon weekend. Run on Monday with the ball game at 11 a.m. between these two ball clubs to wrap up the 4-game set. A lot of baseball to be played between now and then. Bogaerts will lead it off. O'Day on the mound for the Orioles. Bogaerts a base hit scored in the 5th inning on the home run by Hannigan. He is 1 for 2 in the ball game.
Coming down in the back end of the bullpens, and some pretty good arms. Obviously Darren O'Day in here. Zach Britton out in the Orioles bullpen. The Red Sox matching up with Tazawa and O'Hara, so it's going to be a test. Hope for mistakes or maybe a miscue defensively. And try to take advantage of that opportunity.
Both teams trying to play for one right now. Just get a lead in this game. Bogaerts, the 1-1 delivery to him in the air to right field. Snyder. One away. Let's take a look at our Mile 1 road ahead for the Orioles. The O's upcoming schedule brought to you by Mile 1 Automotive, offering you 20 convenient locations throughout the Baltimore area. Visit us in store or online at mile1.com.
Well, we talked about the different times. 4 o'clock tomorrow, 1:30 Sunday, 11 o'clock on Monday, then on to Canada to play the Blue Jays. 7 o'clock starts up there.
Hannigan up. The home run that tied the ball game up came in the 5th inning, his first of the year. 1 for 2 in the ball game. O'Day's delivery to him, that'll be fouled off the other way for a strike. Jimenez worked the 3 2/3 innings, no runs, no hits, thrown out of the ball game when he hit Sandoval in the 4th inning. Home plate umpire threw him out, apparently believing he hit him intentionally. Joe Kelly worked 5 2/3 for Boston, gave up 2 runs, 4 hits, couple of walks, 3 strikeouts, both starters, non-decision. Kevin Gausman an inning and 2/3, 2 runs on 3 hits with a walk and a strikeout, and now O'Day, who's worked the 3 hitters, retired them all.
He's looking good. Good command of all of his pitches. And when Darren feels confident in throwing anything, he can really expose hitters. He'll do what he wants with the baseball. I think that's ultimately the goal of pitchers, have that good feel for all of the pitches and confident to be able to throw it wherever you want.
And another one that's going to be fouled back and out of play. So O'Day, like Zach Britton at the other end, Britton worked a couple of ball games where he worked more than 3 outs, preparing himself for doing that this year in ball games. He's already done that once. O'Day planning on probably working more than 1 inning in a number of his appearances, and then getting that day off, not pitching consecutive days when he does so. Pitch will be taken inside, all part of the maneuvering of the bullpen, for which Buck Showalter gets so much credit as a manager. You got to give a lot to the pitching coach, Dave Wallace, Dom Chidi, his assistant. But Buck has a knack about a feel for bullpens. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Delivery to Hannigan, and that's outside to him.
Yeah, really, that can be the demise of a lot of managers, not being able to command that bullpen the right way, and you see that bullpen falter, and panic sets in, and games get lost. Well, Buck has done an incredible job with the bullpen. It's really been the strength of this Orioles team over the past 3 seasons. Their bullpen.
This one's going to be a long one the way it's going as far as managers are concerned. 3 ball, 2 strike count, 1 down on Hannigan. Betts waiting on deck. Darren O'Day delivers to him, and he's got him, and there's going to be no argument. Hannigan started away from the plate and was not surprised by the call.
His His eyes are all geared up to the outside corner, thinking the slider's going to be out there, and Darren decides the front door. He catches that inside corner. Not even thinking about swinging here. He's thinking about getting the knees out of the way. He starts walking back to the dugout before the call's even made.
2 away, 7th inning, top of the order. Here is Mookie Betts, couple of home runs, 8 RBIs, hitting .214 to start it. 22-year-old out of Nashville. And the pitch. He is taken for a strike. Betts last year got in 52 games with the Red Sox at .291. Had 12 doubles, a triple, and 5 home runs in those ball games. Great minor league seasons for 4 years. 0-1 delivery to him, and that'll be outside. 1 ball, 1 strike count on Betts.
An infielder, and they said want some playing time in the big leagues. You're going to learn how to play the outfield, and he's not only taken that to heart, but really made himself a fine outfielder. He's been on the highlight films already this season. A very electric player, could do a lot of things on the field.
Took the pitch close, but a 2-ball, 1 strike count. He has stolen somewhere around the 20 base mark in the minors. Last year with Boston, he had 7. 1 ball, 2 strike count from O'Day. Defense backing up to give themselves time. Fouled again the other way upstairs. And the count stays at 1 ball and 2 strikes.
It's just so hard to square Darren up. If you're thinking about anything else, you're going to be in trouble. You got to pick one pitch to really sit on, and Darren's so good at really kind of understanding what a hitter is thinking. As we took a look at Brian Madison warming up in the Orioles pen.
Came back in on that one. Count goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes. Seen a lot of quality at bats take place in this game. Here's the 2-2 delivery by O'Day, and another one foul back. The answer Buck Showalter continually searches for: why does my pitching staff have so many foul balls hit off them year after year? They lead the majors usually since Buck's arrived with these foul balls. 2-2. And that'll be outside. So Mookie Betts good at bat here as he works O'Day to the 3-ball, 2 strike count. Pedroia waiting on deck if Betts can keep the inning going.
Darren's got to find a way here. Get to the heart of this order.
3-2 delivery, and Betts will ground it to short. Charging Cabrera, knowing he's fast, gets it off in a hurry and will get the out. We completed 7, 1-2-3 inning, ball game 2-2. Our Mazda do-ups when we come back. Steve Pierce, Travis Snyder, and Adam Jones.
Ubaldo gets tossed after a no-hitter. 3 2/3. He's like, what are you talking about? Everybody's saying, what are you talking about? Well, he's out of the game, an early exit. But Caleb Joseph, little redemption here. Down the right field line, yeah, it's the pesky pole. And it's a solo shot, and the Orioles have the lead. But Hannigan, he's got an answer. Catching today, goes deep. It's a 2-run shot. It's a tie ball game. Then a pitcher's duel, a couple long balls, and it's the Geico highlights. Geico 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com for a free rate quote. And take a look at Junichi Tazawa in the ball game. The fastball uses it 56% of the time. The breaking ball 13%. That changeup, it's a split finger, and it is nasty, using it 30% of the time. See nothing on the board as far as earned run average for Tazawa. Real good stuff. 5 punch-outs, just the 1 walk. You can get that fastball up in the mid-90s.
Pierce will lead it off against him, and the pitch is in there for a strike at 74 with movement. Steve has reached on an error. He has grounded out and flied out. Orioles 2-5-0. Boston 2-3-1. Hannigan home run. Both of the Red Sox runs in this ball game. Not much for the hitters in this game. Orioles got a run on a double play ground ball, and then the home run by Caleb Joseph. Orioles have continued to use the home run over 50%, about 51% of their runs scored on homers so far this year. 0-2 count on Pierce, facing Tazawa for the first time, and that'll be outside.
Steve getting a steady dose of the slider here, a pitch that he doesn't really use too often, primarily fastball, split finger. Trying to change things up a little for Steve Pierce.
Tazawa with a 1-2 delivery. Steve Pierce nubs it third base. Sandoval short hop. 1 down.
There's the split there. Good pitch down and away. Sandoval, the Panda, they call him. Showing some pretty athletic feet there on the slow roller to get Steve Pierce by the half step.
Sandoval been active at third base here in this game. Here is Snyder, base hit, run scored. He is 1 for 3 in the ball game. Tazawa's had some pretty good luck against the Orioles. This is the 22nd game he has pitched in against the Orioles. 3-1, 1.93 earned run average. The Orioles have hit .225 lifetime off Junichi Tazawa. Jones waiting on deck. Snyder 1 for 2 against the right-hander. Leika worked an inning and a third. 1 hit, 1 strikeout. 0-1 delivery. Snyder trying to wait on it. Tops it foul. 0-2.
Not only does Tazawa have the good stuff. I mean, he has a live fastball. He has a real good split finger, and a couple other secondary pitches with the curve and the slider to go along with it. But real interesting delivery. He's got that hang and freeze at the top, and then more the drop and drive typical at the end. So timing him makes it a little tougher on a hitter as well.
0-2 delivery on the way in. Again, couldn't wait long enough. Red Sox are going to play 22 consecutive against the East. The Orioles, of course, starting out against Eastern Division opponents here for the first month and into the next one. A lot of people starting to realize, Buck Showalter talked about it at spring training. He said, you know, we don't play outside the Eastern time zone until June 1. June 1. Before they leave the Eastern time zone, that'll be a game against Houston. Here's the 0-2 delivery on the way. Looking the last time that the Orioles, last teams to play all of their games in the Eastern time zone through May, you got to go back to 1932. The Red Sox, Yankees, Philadelphia Athletics, and the Washington Senators in 1932 played all of their games through May in the East. The Orioles doing it this year for the first time since then. 1-2 delivery on the way. Real good pitch all the way to the backstop. Had some zip on that one. No bumps, no hops, no curves.
Hannigan couldn't make that play. Fastball taken off, hit the bull back there. There it goes.
And the count at 2-2. Infield will shade Snyder to pull, but not all the way around. He's hit too many balls to left early this year. Swung on and missed. Throw made, and that will record the out. Hannigan had to get the home plate umpire Jordan Baker out of the way because he wanted the throw from foul territory. So there are 2 away. Follow the Orioles all season long with MLB.com at Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At Bat is up to the moment, any moment. In-game highlights, live look-ins, replays, radio broadcasts, statcast, and more. MLB.com at Bat. Get it for your smartphone or tablet. 2 down, nobody on. Adam Jones try and get the tiebreaker right here. Orioles have struck out 5 times in the game. So have the Red Sox. 2 down, nobody on. Pye doing for a ball. Adam, a 3 for 9 off to Zawa.
The Orioles happy the heart of this lineup's coming through for them. 2 outs. Going to be tougher on Adam Jones. Get his pitch.
1-0, that wasn't it. Tough pitch up and in. 1-1.
Fastball takes off. I think that's something that Tazawa, isn't really known for, is that real good fastball. More for that devastating split finger, but he can get it up there as well as anybody.
One ball, 1 strike delivery on the way. And a big swing and a miss on that one. 1 and 2.
Pretty good location there. 94 miles an hour right on the outside corner. Good pass by Adam. But tend to be a little in between. You see how they're working them, trying to work the perimeter. Stay away from the heart of the plate.
See what he shows him there. Tazawa ahead on the count. 1-2 delivery. Showed him one way outside. Again. Hannigan makes the play down to first. 2 strikeouts in the inning. Orioles are retired. 1-2-3. Pedroia, Ortiz, and Ramirez will be due up when we come back. Still tied 2-2, and deeper into the bullpen go the Orioles.
Well, Brian Mattis now on. You see his pitch arsenal this season. The fastball at 37%. The breaking ball, the big curve at 20% of the time, and the changeup 43%. Now, pretty good mix, good consistent mix. Really working hard on that change. So we're going to face more righties 3 games. No earned run average. 3 innings of work, 3 strikeouts, a couple walks for Brian Mattis.
So the left-hander, Brian Mattis for O'Day, who worked an inning and 2/3, gave up nothing and had 2 strikeouts. Pedroia will lead it off. He is 0 for 3 in the ball game, hitting at .279, 3 home runs on the year. And Brian Mattis will bounce the first one to him. Pedroia with a 3 for 14 lifetime off the Orioles left-hander.
We talked about the change, and there he does. He starts Pedroia off with the changeup. Trying to get him a little over anxious. You know, this part of the ball game, when it's tied, a lot of hitters are over aggressive. They want to try to win the game with one swing of the bat. The pitchers can expand the zone and get some cheap outs that way.
Pedroia hit .250 off the lefties last year, .288 off right-handers. 2-0 count. Mattis's delivery to him, and that's going to be outside. So he falls behind on the leadoff batter here in the 8th inning. Pedroia 3-0. Brian with a tremendous spring coming out of the bullpen for the Orioles to face both right and left-handers, as he's going to have to do for the Orioles the way the bullpen is constructed right now. 3-0 delivery on the way. Pedroia is taking in 4 in a row, and he's home.
Didn't want that. You can see by look at Buck's eye right there that he didn't need a 4-pitch walk to start this 8th inning off. Brian Mattis really known for his success off David Ortiz. And you see the numbers right there. It's 125, 3 for 24. That's a huge sample size. 13 punch-outs. So David Ortiz having his troubles against Mattis, and Mattis hoping his successes continue against Ortiz.
Shift will be put on. 0 for 2 and a walk for David Ortiz in the ball game. Short lead for Pedroia. Ortiz will take it inside under the arms for the ball. So Mattis still looking to find the strike zone here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Orioles do not have anybody up in the bullpen. Ortiz, couple of home runs, 176 batting average. And we'll foul that one back. It's that quick slice through the strike zone he takes when he gets one that he wants to drive.
Right. Well, he hasn't had great numbers off Mattis. And Brian's just thrown 5 straight balls. And he chases a pitch, probably would have been 6 straight balls up out of the zone. So I think Ortiz, it's more of an ego thing right now. He wants to show that he can get a hit off Mattis.
Another one that's going to come inside. Count will go to 2-1. We're tied at 2 here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Tough ball game. Orioles had the 2-0 lead. Hannigan tied it up. 5th inning, 2-run homer. Red Sox have not had a hit since that home run in the 5th inning. They've had only 3 in the ball game. The Orioles have had 5, and it goes to 2-2.
Pretty nice pitch right there to David Ortiz. Take a look at that power zone. Pretty much filling up the whole strike zone and then some. He can expand inside. And it's all red over the heart of the plate. You can't make mistakes there. Mattis pitching him very carefully right now. Nice pitch, that last slider.
2-2 delivery on the way. Ortiz will pop it up. Only one with any chance of it's playable is Caleb Joseph. It is, but he can't get there. And gets help. Not going over into the dugout. With the shift on, there was no way Manny Machado was going to get there.
Well, great heads-up play by Caleb. I mean, right out of the gate, he takes off. He knows he's the only one that's going to have a shot. Pretty tough to run all that way with the catcher's gear. Wish he would have just turned that glove over one-handed, that thing. It's kind of tough. When you put 2 hands up, you lose a little body control. And, of course, running in the wall doesn't help either.
Dave Wallace over there to help him, the Orioles pitching coach, but he had to reach out around the side. Watch Dave on the right there. Ooh, hang on there.
Trying to help him out.
2-ball, 2-strike count. Ball put up in the air, not deep, right field. Snyder, plenty of time, and he's got it. So Ortiz is retired, 1 away in the 8th. 34,341 the announced attendance. 34,341 for game one on this Friday night. No reason to believe there won't be big crowds for all three games. 4 o'clock game tomorrow is a great time for the family to come to the ballpark. And then the Sunday afternoon game the same, and then you got people just come to the 11 o'clock game on Monday for the sake of saying they were there. And the marathon will be running out on Boylston Street while the game's going on. Here is Hanley Ramirez. Ramirez 0 for 3. One down, runner on at first base. Pedroia showing no indication that he wants to go anywhere. He hasn't stolen base. In the dirt, but he's going to take off here and he'll get second. Wild pitch.
The changeup, Caleb. Look, it just didn't get the glove down far enough, and the changeup kind of skidded. It didn't bounce up. See, it hit the plate and skidded and stayed low, and that's why it got under his gloves. Caleb anticipating the bounce, just didn't get down low enough. It kicks away, and Pedroia now into scoring position.
The intentional pass will be given to Ramirez with Sandoval, of all people, waiting on deck. Hanley Ramirez has a 7-game hit streak against the Orioles coming into this game. He's gone 12 for 32 if you count the at-bats in this game. A couple of home runs, 15 RBIs against the Orioles. Pitch will be outside. That is ball 4. Tommy Hunter is getting ready in the bullpen. Sandoval, switch hitter, will be coming to the plate with 2 on.
Good move right there, actually. I know Brian didn't want to let that ball get away, or Caleb didn't want that ball to skip away, but Hanley Ramirez, the great numbers against the lefties, and you know, we got the double play in order right here, and Sandoval's having his struggles swinging from the right side this season.
As he did last year. He hit only 199 against left-handers last year compared to 317 against righties. 2 on and 1 down. Ryan Mattis's pitch, that is there for a strike. Sandoval continues these kind of numbers. He may be the next in line to do the Victorino thing of, do I really want to switch hit?
Yeah, stay lefty. I mean, watching him swing left-handed, he has pretty incredible plate coverage and hits bad balls, so why not?
0-1 delivery on the way. That'll be fouled back. Brian Mattis finds strikes against Sandoval and gets up on the count 0-2.
Nice job, and you're seeing what Brian Mattis is all about, the ability to mix up all of his pitches. You see how Buck's confidence has grown in him, the ability to get right-handers out because of the changeup that really came on in spring training. This is a tough situation Brian Mattis is in, and Buck sticking to his guns here with Mattis.
0-2 ground ball. That's to third. Manny Machado ran up his arm. There's one relay, and they turn the double play. Orioles get the big double play. The intentional pass to Ramirez works, and Brian Mattis out of the inning. No runs, no hits, and we go to the 9th inning with the ball game tied at 2. Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by PNC, for the achiever in you. Gary Thorne, Mike Bordick on hand here in Boston at Fenway. 2-2 ball game. There's your line. Top of the ninth inning coming up. Former Oriole. And coming off the DL for one game so far, Koji Uehara.
Uehara, take a look at his pitch arsenal. The fastball 14% of the time, and it's a split finger that changed. 86% of the time his go-to pitch. He has that four-seam Invisa fastball. Looks like he's throwing it right down the middle, not very overpowering, 88 to 91 miles an hour. But a lot of hitters just swing through it, and you'll see that split finger when he gets ahead. Nothing on the board right now. Missed a half spring training with a hamstring problem and even the start of this season. So still early going for Koji. Remember, at the end of last season, he kind of got roughed up a little bit.
Chris Davis, who has a double in the ball game, is hit into a double play and walked, will stand in. Koji Uehara gets the big cut. Davis 2 for 8 against Koji, including a home run. Uehara got his first save of the ninth inning Tuesday against Washington at a 1-2-3 inning. He was activated on Monday off the DL because of that hamstring Mike was talking about. He has now made 137 appearances in 2 years with Boston, and of those 137 in 118, he hasn't given up anything. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Davis in the air, way up, right field. Nava. Davis retired, 1 down, 9th inning.
Even the hanging split finger, pretty routine out there for Koji. Just enough deception. Zach Britton warming up on the Orioles bullpen.
Orioles' last run, the home run by Caleb Joseph, that in the 5th inning. Since then, the Orioles have had 1 hit, a Cabrera base hit. It's been all about the pitching this ball game tonight. Bullpens, both of them have done yeoman's work, especially for the Orioles. Gosman touched up with the 2 runs, 3 hits in an inning and 2/3. O'Day, inning and 2/3, 2 strikeouts. Brian Mattis worked in that 8th inning, didn't give up any hits. A couple of walks, 1 intentional. 0-1 delivery, and way out in front of that one was Manny Machado. 0 for 3 in the ballgame.
Pretty good split finger. Always sells it well with the arm action. Everything looks the same coming out of his hand, and then that ball just trap door right at the end, right when it gets to home plate.
Yeah, Manny is 0 for 5 off Koji Uehara. 1-2, 1 down. Orioles went 11-8 against the Red Sox last year, 3rd year in a row. They have won the season series against Boston. Swing and a miss. 2 down.
Well, it's not just the ability to throw the split finger and have good action, but to be able to locate it. The pitches back to back, down and away. They're going to hold their head and stay in the zone, but disappear at the end and get Manny swinging for the 2nd out.
Now that just drops off the table. Here's Caleb Joseph. Joseph got his home run in the 5th inning. There's a walk, and he is flied out. He will take the strike from Koji. For 1 for Joseph against Uehara. Guarding the line, Sandoval at 3rd base. Out in front of that one again. And see how tough the timing is what Showalter always says. Hitters tell you how well you're pitching. And those swings tell you Koji's pitching pretty well.
Yeah, it's so hard to pick up the ball. You don't pick up a spin on the split finger until it's too late.
There's the 0-2 pitch, and that'll be that. Strikes out 2. Retires the side in order. Bottom of the 9th inning at Fenway. Napoli, Nava, Bogarts are due up for Boston. Bottom of the ninth inning. Brian Mattis is going to stay on and work here in the bottom of the ninth, at least started the second inning of relief work. Keep in mind that Buck Showalter, along with his pitching coach Dave Wallace, Dom Chidi, the assistant, thinking ahead now. How we got 4 games here in Boston. We got odd start times. Got a 4 o'clock game tomorrow. How many pitchers do we want to use in game 1, and who do we want to use? Who can we use and bring back tomorrow?
Well, I think that's the key right there, and especially in this ball game, Buck thinking about obviously winning it. Can Brian Mattis give you one more inning and hope the offense puts a run up on the board and then bring Zach in to finish it up?
So the infield shift is on against Napoli. He will take the pitch. Napoli, the 0 for 3 in the ball game. Brian Mattis working against him, looking for a quick inning. For Napoli, 2 for 7 off Mattis, and the pitch will be taken outside. Brian has started out a number of these hitters behind on the count, going 2-0 again here. 2-5-0. The Orioles 2-3-1 for Boston. 2-0 delivery on the way, and that's outside. 3-0. He started the 8th inning with a walk to Pedroia.
Yeah, got a big double play ball to get out of that last inning. So Tommy Hunter warming up in the bullpen. Brian's been extended, so I don't think pitching an extra inning is going to matter to him.
That pitch missed. So as happened in the 8th inning, 4 in a row out of the strike zone to start it. So the leadoff man is on. Boston, of course, looking for 1 to win here in the bottom half of the 9th inning. Now Daniel Nava is due up. This will be Nava's second at bat. He came on for Victorino and flied out to center field. You've got Nava, then you've got Bogarts coming up. Do you bunt Nava? Red Sox have 1 sacrifice so far on the season. Their backup catcher got it. Leon. Manny Machado's looking into the dugout. He will move in at third.
You want to protect from it. I think the Red Sox, though, would be thinking about a possible pinch runner with Napoli at first base.
There's the bunt. Push bunt. Got to go to first. Davis gets it over there to Jonathan Scope. Good job by Nava. That's a good sacrifice. And Napoli's at second base with 1 down.
It really was well executed. That's where you want to put the bunt, on the first base line. Force that first baseman to field it. You got the bat head out in front to keep it fair. Pearson, nice job crashing in there. Looks up, though, and Napoli ended up getting a nice jump to be safe at second base.
Now Buck Showalter will make his way out. Brian Mattis will be coming out of the ball game. Tommy Hunter had gotten up for the second time. Will be coming on to pitch for the Orioles. Brought to you by Miller Lite.
An unfortunate Miller moment here when Ubaldo Jimenez hits Sandoval in the back, and he's tossed. 2 outs. He hasn't given up a hit yet in the game, and everybody is confused about this call by home plate umpire to eject him. Really nothing in this ball game had led to that ejection.
And here's Tommy Hunter.
Take a look at his pitch arsenal. Fastball, the power fastball 70% of the time, and breaking ball 30% of the time. Now he moves his fastball. Good 2-seamer. He can cut it as well.
Napoli potential winning run at second. 1 down. Pitch taken for a strike. This is Bogaerts, a single and a run scored. He is 1 for 3 in the ball game.
So Tommy off to kind of a slow start here at the beginning of the season. That earned run average will obviously come down a little bit. Right now making a couple mistakes that he's getting.
That one blooped in the air. Could be the ball game. Runner makes the turn. Snyder up. Throw to the plate. Not in time, and the Red Sox have won it. Bogaerts delivers the RBI single. Napoli, who drew the walk to lead it off, got sacrificed by Nava and scores on the Bogaerts base hit. And the Orioles 2-2 in 1-run ball games. Now the Red Sox are 3-0, and that's how this season starts.
Take a look here. Breaking ball. It actually breaks the bat. Not in the best location, but it's a broken bat flare. See Jonathan Scope giving chase. And the run ends up scoring the game winner.
So that'll do it. Join us tomorrow. Chris Tillman on the mound against Clay Buchholz. Game 2. Our coverage, Masson 2, begins at 3:30 O's Extra, presented by Jeep, followed by game coverage at 4 on Masson 2 and WJZ. This has been a Masson presentation. O's Extra, presented by PNC. It's coming up right now. Jim and Rick standing by. For Mike Wardick and all of our crew here at Fenway, I'm Gary Thorne. Thanks, everybody. Adieu.